Hey, and welcome back to our stream of Strixhaven Ilandara. I'm Emerson. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be your DM for this evening. I'm sorry that last week we ended up having an impromptu cancellation of our game. I was feeling a little under the weather, and so I just didn't quite have the energy to run a proper game to the extent that I wanted to, so I ended up having to delay it. But we're back, we're ready, and we are going to have a fun session. Jerry is not playing with us today. Neither is my sister, Emily, but they will be back next session, I believe. So today we will see what happens without them, and with our luck, we are going to make a ton of narrative progress today because that's how it always ends up working out, right? Like the most important stuff happens when people miss. With that being said, why don't we jump right into things and give ourselves our little introduction? Also, because there's less people on the screen, this time we can see our roles a little bigger in the bottom left. So I'm pretty happy about that. But, of course, it won't work now that I said that. But that theoretically is supposed to happen. But why don't we start off with Trent? Tell us about yourself and character.
Hello, my name
I'm
is
on
Trent.
the wrong screen. This is our screen that we are on for today.
Fuck, Emerson.
I messed
During my
that
intro,
up.
you know what I said.
I messed
You know what I
that
told
up.
you before?
I did not put us on our landing, but the Trent.
Ding, ding. You ready? You ready?
Yes,
Hello?
go.
Yes, hi. Hello, my name is Trent. I play Syntax. Trent's pronouns are Who's this? My pronouns.
Trent is your
Yeah.
character in.
Yeah. Trent is my character. I'm Syntax now. I've switched. No. My pronouns are he, him. Syntax's pronouns are he, they. Yeah, we've got some art of them up there. They're a funky little person. Usually stirring up trouble for no fucking reason. Yeah.
Nice. Next up is Ryza, played by the illustrious Dylan.
Hello.
As I almost bring up the
As
wrong
Emerson
character.
just said, my name's Dylan. I use he, him pronouns. I play Ryza. I use she, her pronouns. She's very shy and timid, but also very plays with her heart on her sleeve.
Speaking of those playing with hearts on sleeves and arguably playing with fire, Kaethana. Trauma in the backstory. There you go.
Isn't there always?
Yeah, if
I'm
there's not, it's not
Deja.
D&D.
I use she, her pronouns. My character, Kaerthana, also uses she, her pronouns. As Emerson said, trauma in the backstory. Kay is a little emotionally detached, but only because when she has emotional outbursts, things tend to blow up or things tend to be birthed into space because of her wild magic. So
I forgot that technically did happen. Like, you did spontaneously create 4 flumps that then had the trauma of existence.
We didn't forget about that in character.
I love flumps, guys. Next up is Melody, and this time I actually pulled up the correct artwork.
Hi, I'm Melody. I use she, her pronouns, and I play Nim, and he uses he, him pronouns. He's just a little guy. He's just a funky little guy. He's got a lot going on. Let's see if he can keep it together this session. If he makes things worse.
Speaking about funky little things, here's our funkiest, littlest character, Evie.
Hi. Hello, I'm Carly. I go by she, they pronouns, and little Evie goes by she, her pronouns. Evie's just a little puffball of pastels and ready to learn, ready to make new friends.
And funny enough, she is the one that's probably on best terms with everyone that we are mildly not friends with,
That
right?
makes sense.
Her and Quintelius have a bond on Quintelius's side anyways. I don't know.
There's a little somewhat.
Evie puts up with Quintilius. We can say that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last session, you guys finally had your general studies courses, where you met Nils, who is a professor of Silver Quill, but also in charge of discipline on campus. You also met Verelda Lang, who is a dryad, who is very much so like kindergarten teacher, always very bubbly, always very happy. Not realizing that she kind of like she did an icebreaker with her whole class, and the whole class was kind of throwing shade. A lot of it unintentionally, a lot of it not unintentional. You guys finally confronted the woman who has decided that Imagine, Jerry's character, was going to be her rival. And she just gaslit the hell out of him, saying that she doesn't have a problem. Maybe he has a problem. And then we had some great moments of people getting some on-campus jobs, as well as Nim revealing that he performed dark magic that was illegal. And in doing so was essentially brought onto the radar of the school and seems to be here in an almost probationary kind of way, if that's the right term for it. The only person who knew this was Syntax, so which means the entire group knows this. And then Nim proceeded to say that the person they learned the spell from and whatnot took advantage of them. To which Nim got headaches for 2 days until the person in question barged into his skull and was like, "Cow a bummer." Sorry, I just saw what
Holy
you wrote
shit.
in chat where it said "Cow a bummer," and I
Cowabummer.
just read it and I was like, "Hey, we'll use it here." No, your patron essentially called you out saying I took advantage of you. I told you it was dangerous. You still did it. Blah blah blah. You owe me. And Nim just groveled, didn't even look at the guy or girl or thing or I don't know. But
He sure did.
and yeah, so that's kind of where we left off last session. The session before that, as a reminder to our players, you guys were going to eventually talk to the groundskeeper, Yadora, because apparently some trees animated at one point, and then and they might have some information about it. And also, you guys have deduced that this Eldritch Balm the campus uses tends to come from Witherbloom somewhere. So you guys thought that maybe you'd talk to Tavash or another Witherbloom professor. I mean, they're employees. Yeah. The campus labs is the new job of both Nim and Syntax. That's where they had their little bonding moment. And then Kay is now working at the Fire Jolt Cafe. Okay, this music is way too intense.
I knew you were going to say something. I knew you were going to say it.
I'm not changing it. So this is what it is, guys. Also, you guys do have a test coming up in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, we heard about that.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks because Verelda was she teaches your magical physiologies courses, and you guys are going to dive into some the study of elementals for the first 2 weeks.
Elementals.
And then you're going to have a test on elementals in 2 weeks' time. So that does include this first class session. So the last half of the class is just a big lecture. Oh, no, it doesn't include this class session. Never mind.
I was like, what did she say?
Yeah, she didn't say anything. I will say there are mechanics for the tests, so don't worry too much. But at the same time, if you guys do throw out little factoids or whatnot that you remember from a lecture, I'll give you little bonuses as well. So there is an element to kind of RP the test if you'd like, or if you just want to get the trauma over with, we can go straight into rolls. I was very tempted to make like Google Sheet tests and like have a whole like fun thing with it, and I might do that for the final. But other than that, and again, that would mean nothing. Like if your character like studied a ton, like you could miss every question and your character will still be fine, but just kind of like for the fun of like, how do I, like, you know, I don't know, I thought it might be fun. For those watching, that's how I had them sign up for their classes, is I made a whole like Google form, acting like it's like, welcome to college, what classes do you want?
It felt very official.
I was very proud of it. I also made it like 3 months before we started playing, so I had to like remember what I put in it. Either way, let's get into things. The music is calm now, so we're good. It was stressful for the test, and now it's back to normal, so it's real life. And you guys just chatted that evening about stuff. Nim passed out, but didn't tell you guys that it was because of their patron, just like a dehydration or something like that. The following day, you guys unless you guys want to continue anything that evening, I was going to move on to the following day and that week as a whole.
Push it forward, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So that following that week is your first true week of school. You start on the, hold on, I need to actually update this this thing that I did wrong. Session 8. We're going to keep the old oh no, never mind. The name of this episode is going to be called The Trauma of Existence.
You don't know that yet. Why?
Because I made a reference to it earlier, and apparently it's t-shirt slogan quality. So you heard it here first, folks.
Tagline.
Okay. So the trauma of existence. We are going to. It doesn't quite fit in the box, but we're just going to ignore that, and because I'm not going to worry about resizing shit.
Existan. There you go.
Existan. Okay. So we have, so it is currently the 23rd. You finished that day. And as the week progresses, you go to all of your courses, starting on Monday with your Witherbloom course, as well as the, Tuesday. That is Witherbloom Prismari. As well as the Debate 1 course for poor Imagine. However, as first week schedules were very confusing, poor Kay wasn't able to make it to the Prismari lecture. So this week, quickly after her Witherbloom course, thankfully, it is, yeah, you have enough time, but only just. You managed to get to the Prismari class, at which Zaphi greets you with a very big bow and fireworks, and welcomes you to the class, where Evelina and Quintelius wait for you. Quintelius, having heard that you're going to join the class, we saved you a seat. And sure enough, you get to hear another little blurb about how Prismari unlocks the magic of self, and is ultimately about self-expression and accepting who you are and how magic is a part of you. And then it starts diving into sort of how various emotions affect the manifestation of magic, and how certain emotions that heighten magic tend to enhance forms of magic such as evocation and more energetically active spells, as opposed to things that are more depressive or self-centered tends to impress things like tends to improve things such as abjuration and various things that strengthen objects, such as mage armor is easier to cast when you are feeling more internally focused. For many, though that is not the truth for everyone, does fireworks. And then, yeah, Witherbloom, even though that class was before this, and I should have explained it before this. The music is very distracting. You guys start diving into life essences proper, starting first with the idea of the simplest to understand agency. If something can move and act on its own. Sorry. Starting first with substance. My mistake. Starting first with substance. Tavash. I should pull up his picture again. Tavash dives into talking about zombies and whatnot, explaining how a zombie is an undead that lacks some of the other forms of life essence, such as agency, but the whole point of a zombie is that you're reanimating the substance of something and manipulating the overt substance of a being, whereas a ghost doesn't have that. Following that, your day is pretty straightforward. Some of you go on to work in the evening, and ultimately, you're starting to get into the swing of things. Clubs begin meeting, but the majority of them start up next week as opposed to this week, as this week is more of the sort of icebreaker, get to know, get your friends to come kind of moments, not actually anything of actual merit yet. That Wednesday, you guys then dive back into your Lorehold course, as well as Necromancy for Beginners. Again, Lorehold begins talking about how you can manifest spirits and whatnot, and the difference between their approach to necromancy and the approach of Witherbloom, in which Lorehold essentially brings back the self briefly and oftentimes binds it to a different form of its substance, in this case statues. But they don't dive too much into that. Osgir, the very enthusiastic dwarf professor, proceeds to talk about how you're not here for necromancy, and instead dives into just really cool things that spirits can help you do on a dig site, such as unlocking knowledge and languages that you didn't know previously, but you can manifest through the spirit. In other words, comprehend languages spell, but other sort of, from a non-mechanical standpoint, this is sort of what he's talking about. Necromancy for Beginners touches on a lot of what the Witherbloom course was touching on, but in this case is actually giving you a bit more hands-on. You can think of it a lot like the lab course to the Witherbloom intro course, and dealing a lot with ethics of it as well. Thursday rolls around, and on Thursday you guys have your... I moved the dot lower in this time around. Oh, that's going to bother me. Thursday, you have your Silver Quill courses, as well as basic clockwork engineering, as well as some other fun... oh my god, maybe the real magic was the friends we made along the way. That is literally, like, the motto of Prismari. So,
My God.
not really. That's kind of Silver Quill, but it's not it's friends and those you can control. Friday ultimately then comes, and Friday is Quandrix. Once again, Ruxa, the bear professor, gives you guys a wonderful lecture and sort of dives you in briefly into effectively what is physics. First explaining how the natural world's works before diving into how magic can alter it. So apparently the first couple weeks you're going to be focusing on just what the normal laws of the world are. And that, I believe, is pretty much your first week. Going into the weekend, you guys get the opportunity to sort of stretch your legs on campus a bit, have fun doing whatever you would like to do. As weekend comes around, some of you have fun study sessions with the sons of professors, and we will say he's doing that a lot, Imagine. Some of you may
Wait. You're telling me Imagine has got these one-on-one fun study sessions with the professor, and that's all.
Professor's
There's going to be
son.
no room. Yeah,
Professor's
the professor's son. There's not going to be any rumors that circulate around that.
Oh, yeah, guys, Imogen is the most popular first year on campus,
Oh, I'm sure.
even if he doesn't
Okay.
mean to be. Everyone knows Imogen, and by the end of this week, everyone knows you guys as Imogen's group. So,
Oh,
what this
Great.
means is that individuals such as Rubina, who was kind of
Bitch.
less friendly with Imogen,
She is.
people
She's
have
so mean.
people have started kind of slowly settling onto sides, those that really care.
Ooh.
So you get a few snide looks here and there as you are part of Imogen's group, but the vast majority of people don't care,
Don't give a shit.
Good.
as it really is just her small posse, which is ultimately Imogen's intro course, and that's about it. Because everyone else doesn't really have a reason to understand. Whereas the rest of the intro course all saw him get this special treatment and then get this training thing. One person of note that isn't acting that way is Grayson. And of course, Mina Lee, who works at the Fire Jolt with you and has probably vented a lot this week to Kay about how just ridiculous it is. And says something about Killian being a little dreamy, but also just like there's no personality there beyond his schoolwork. So like it's a hard pass for her.
Mina's got the real scoop.
Mina, you do realize Mina does work for the Strixhaven Star, or not work for, but she is part of that club. She considers herself an investigative journalist. So she really, her whole love is for language itself, and how language and how you change how you say something can manage and alter spells. Something that in your downtime while working, you've probably chatted with her a little bit. We can roleplay any of that, but for the sake of just getting you used to your friends on campus, Mina has very much so kind of taken you in as just treating you very much so like an equal, even though she is a year older than you. Some students, you notice a lot of first years tend to be left on their own by those who are older because they also haven't chosen a college yet. So a lot of them don't mingle with college people, with older students.
Less.
Well, just because it's, they might not end up being in the same college. So it's cool. It's awesome to have friends across colleges, and it's very clear that most people do. But it also is clear that most of those friends are ones they made in their first year, not ones that they made past that. Kind of like your general ed versus your major classes. When you're not taking your major classes and you're only doing GE, you don't get to know the people in your major as well. Unless they happen to be taking the same GEs as you. Same difference. But yeah, so the week all in all is very straightforward. Now, how I'm going to approach this is each semester is give or take, I think I counted it correctly, but I counted it last week, so I may have messed this up, but it's give or take 7 weeks or so. So how I'm going to approach this is kind of say, in general, what you guys are focusing on per week. This allows us to see if you guys are studying, if you guys are pursuing side projects, if you guys are pursuing social interaction with people, just a general idea of what do you think your character's focusing on. As a reminder, some of you guys wanted to look up this Eldritch Bomb stuff in the library as well. You can also ask professors, anything like that. And at the end of this week, we will do the scenes in question for these things that you guys wanted to do. Specifically, if there's something that requires a scene, like if you're going to ask Tavash about Eldritch Bomb. That will obviously have taken place on Tuesday when you had that class, but we're just doing it now because unless something very eventful happens, it probably won't mess with the flow of things, if you know what I mean. Also understanding what you guys went over in class this week might be helpful as well. You also know the office hours of all of your teachers and where you can find them, so finding them on the weekend or whatnot is not crazy. Also, this is the beginning of the school year, so if there's something that you guys want to investigate, like if you want to find a cool hangout spot on campus that is not a cafe, or you see people getting those sending stones and you want to figure out where to buy them, or you want to do anything like that, feel free to say that and we can figure that out as well. Remember, this is a very open, free, both game but also setting. The campus doesn't have many restrictions except for things like restricted sections in the library and certain things like the magic labs, which are pretty straightforward for why they're restricted. But yeah, so for the sake of fairness, I started with Trent with our introductions. So let's start at the other end this time around. Carly, is there anything that Evie like really wanted to do this week, do you think? Or is Evie just kind of settling into the flow of things? And again,
That's a good question.
if you wanted to like explore what this Eldritch Balm thing was, but you wanted to do it with your friends, that's what this weekend is for, right? But if you alone thought that you might dig around in the library a bit, you can as well. Or if you wanted to just spend your free time studying to make sure that you start off on the right foot, or the right talent in your case. Yeah, what are you wanting to do? As a reminder, too, I believe your character is one of the ones that is not doing extracurriculars or jobs. So
there's one extra.
Yes, correct. But only one extracurricular. So you have an open time slot. That is going to give you help in your tests, because we're assuming during that time you're studying. You can use it for other things, but if you don't say anything, we're assuming you're spending that time to focus on homework, studying, all that jazz. Yeah. So yes, sorry, I rambled for quite a while, but Evelina, what has I almost said a phrase that I'm pretty sure wouldn't have meant what I was trying to say. What intrigues Evelina for this week, if anything?
I think if she heard if any of her friends are going to the library to like search for that Eldritch Bomb, I think she wants to go help, and also like they'll help her explore the library a bit. But wants to go help.
Cool.
With that, so.
So I will, for now, put that on the side, assuming others are going to join you in that. Nim, what has Nim been up to this week? Is there anything Nim wants to do this week in particular?
He's definitely paying the most attention to his Witherbloom courses, not so much everything else. But he is definitely spending time studying those. A decent amount of time in his room, practicing what those classes teach. Not necessarily... Anyway.
Yeah, reanimating like mice and stuff.
Yeah. What he does.
Yeah. But doing it in your room just in case. Yeah, the usual.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to hang out in Sedgemoor, which is like the swampy area.
Yeah, cool.
Witherbloom campus,
yes, it
right?
is.
Because it reminds him of his home.
Okay, cool. That is very relevant. We will probably do a little mini scene of that sometime this week when you were hanging out in Sedgemoor. But first, let's see what others are doing. Next up, Kay. What was Kay up to? Kaerthana. I can finally say the full name confidently. Even though it's phonetic. I just like, there's so many words. I'm like, on stream. And then, but I'm pretty confident now.
You got it. Kay has probably been settling in a bit as far as starting with a new job. I also think after the Witherbloom course on Tuesday, probably would have gone with the group or whoever was comfortable to like just ask Tavash a few questions if he was willing to talk. I know last time at the end of the course, he just was like
Yeah, he
all.
just.
That is all. So
You.
yeah, I think Kay would try to go talk to Tavash, and that might lead into Evie too wanting to go to the library afterwards, depending on what Tavash says to us or how that goes.
Definitely. So for now, let's say that the rest of the Witherbloom people may have joined you in that conversation. That's up to them. But we'll do that scene right after I figure out everyone else as well. Ryza, what is Ryza? What has risen her interest? Risen her. What is she doing?
Good job.
What's she doing?
Good job.
I really
Oh,
thought I
awesome,
had that
Emerson.
one on lock. Like I was like Ryza, oh my god, rising, and then I realized I almost like asked what like rose her, and that doesn't sound great. And then
Oh,
I
you did
just
great. It was
derailed
great.
it. That's what I almost did to
Reference.
Evelina too when I was like, "What? So what tickles her pickle?" And I was like, "That does not mean that does not mean what is she interested in. That means something very different."
Yep.
Yeah. So guys,
Yep.
this is a great
What
great session.
happens?
This is great. That's not what I had intended. I also wasn't gonna share that. Like I intentionally stopped
I love how
myself
you're
before I
still
said
going.
that.
Keep going.
Yeah,
What
it's
else did
just
you
getting
fuck up
worse.
in
It's
this
just
session?
getting worse. Again, the worst part is both of those I intended benignly, but they're just not. Ryza, there you go. You take it away.
Take it away, Penny.
Please.
For the most part, I know during the week, Riza was definitely getting settled in with school, place, friends. I I think she would be probably spending a lot of time playing music, just to really find a way to get settled into, like, when she knows, like, in the end, that's like what makes her feel good, and that's probably what she spent a lot of time doing. Um, I do know Riza would wants to participate with everybody with what they're doing. I believe talking to Tavash is definitely on there, and then eventually definitely heading to the library to meet up Evie and do whatever she can to help.
Awesome. How about then we are going to do the Tavash scene like it's at the end of the week, like you guys went to his office to talk to him. So that way more people can talk to him, and also Kay doesn't have to worry about talking to him and then running to her Prismari course in time. Last but definitely not least, Syntax. What is Syntax up to this week?
Syntax is going to spend the week kind of going around to the various kind of grounds on campus, gardens, the like stadiums and things, any of those like big outdoorsy kind of spaces. And they're going to ask Nim, especially because Nim's already going to like the Witherbloom area, if Nim will help Syntax look for like, well, there'd be like small birds and rodents and stuff that just live out in the gardens and stuff.
Yeah.
Syntax wants to catch some of those.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a job for Nim.
Purposes.
He'll go.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk scene-wise about why, or I could just tell you right now why he
Well,
wants
what
to do
what do you prefer? Do you prefer a scene? Do you prefer to not give any context and just have Nim do this? Because I feel like Nim will.
He would do it with no.
Like what?
that.
What? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and by the way, during all this walking type stuff, they're just asking around slightly. People who kind of work the grounds know who Eudora is and kind of what area they might be in. So it's like a little bit of scouting, a little bit of setting traps for animals or something. And then yeah, just keeping an eye out for that stuff.
I will say that you were told where Eudora would be. Apparently, they are working on the actual like field this weekend, so you'll be able to find them there. So again, if the whole group wishes to go and speak with them, they can. If not, you know that you can find them this weekend. As for the animals, I want everyone involved to roll animal handling checks for me.
Okay.
Or correction, first survival checks to see like if you build traps well, and then animal handling to see if to see
Okay,
if anything you caught stays caught once you get there.
Syntax will be perfectly clear about this. Yeah, they'll be like, I want animals to dissect and look at organically. So if
Okay,
that's
yeah,
not your
so-
character's jam, you
No,
don't have
never
to be
mind. Then
part
no
of this.
animal handling check because you find it and you can just thump it on the head. Like it doesn't have to stay
Yeah,
alive.
it's a.
I already rolled
Holy
survival, and
shit!
it was a nat 20. For
Oh
survival.
my gosh!
Okay.
I'm not gonna roll anything.
No,
Syntax
you don't
is not
need
a
to.
doer.
You like Syntax finds like a tiny like dormouse, like it's this tiny little thing. Like you find this tiny thing and you turn around and Nim walks in with like jars full of dead animals. Like one of them is straight up like there's probably 5 rats in one jar to where it's like they're pushed in, like to fit them all in.
Oh, no.
And then you know, like you've got pretty much any small beast in the player's handbook that is not like an
fun.
actual domesticated animal like a cat.
Sweet.
You probably have or could have to dissect.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. They just want a variety to look at different animals and how
Yeah,
they
you
work.
absolutely yeah. I will point out you crit, right? For the
Yeah, I did.
giggles. Oh, you crit, never mind. You definitely were carrying like 3 jars full of animals right past Nils. But you saw him in time. And you just like slid it into your cloak and gave him like a wave as he's like not doing anything suspicious. And you're like, no.
He
And
said
just kept
that.
walking. Yeah. So like there's definitely a moment of like that could have
So
been
funny.
awkward. Like obviously it's nothing it's nothing illegal or problematic, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't look suspicious. But yeah, you're good. You crit, so it's fine.
Cool.
But it just gives you the idea that at least he's at least trying to check up on you roughly once a week or so. He seems to actually be taking it serious as far as making sure that you are taking it serious, if that makes any
Noted.
sense.
It sure does.
Yeah. Not in a bad way, actually. You'd be surprised. It's more of a, like, he intercepts you in the hallway and is all, how are your studies going? And he, like, stares down at you with a very, like, intense gaze.
How tall is he?
Oh, no, never mind. He stares up at you with a very intense gaze. He's like, average height, but you're, like, 7 feet.
Okay.
So,
How tall? Wait, how tall is Nim?
No, he's like 6'3".
Okay. So he's
So he's a
probably
tall
eye
person.
level
Like-
with your bottommost eyeballs. Because he's like 6 foot or
The
whatever.
bottom set of eyeballs.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. He does say something that is kind of nice, where it's just, if you're having any difficulty, know that you can speak with me. I am here to help make sure you stay on the up and up.
Oh.
But that does not mean I will be lenient should you... You know, in other words, it's like the I'm nice, but also like don't take advantage of it. Very much so the teacher who like poses as like a hard ass at the beginning of the school year because he doesn't want his kids to like walk all over him kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But you're sure
I like him now.
well, so again, his character description is that he considers himself an optimist, but he's constantly disappointed by his students. So, like, he wants to care
Don't
about
get used
people and
to
he
it.
likes to see the good in people, but then just they always disappoint him. So it's like, that's one of those, like, he's talking about, like, I'm happy you haven't started doing any strange experiments, and you, like, hide
Yes.
the bottle behind you more. You know, it's like that
He
kind
just
of...
happens to stop him in the hall right when he has
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
jars full.
Like there's like a
Yeah.
rat in your hand squirming that like you haven't shoved in the jar yet. Like, you know, the it like bites you and you're like rude. But yeah, okay.
Yeah. So Syntax is going to spend just a little bit of time pretty much every week doing just like general
Fucked up shit.
biology
Got
and
it.
dissection. It's not fucked up
No,
stuff.
I
They're
know.
literally, yeah, it's taking notes and shit. And we'll invite Nim, and I guess the rest of the group, if you're interested in looking at animals on the inside, to do that with them.
I know Kay is also Witherbloom in adjacent interested. Is Kay going to join in for these?
Syntax is like holding like freaking jars up and like little pins and scalpels and stuff.
Oh,
Kay
Yeah,
is
then-
going to join them, but not engage in like the dissection and or the catching. Mostly is just there out of pure fascination and moral support, but doesn't actually want to be involved.
I love that. I love that for them.
Plausible deniability.
Mm.
Throughout this week, Riza has spent some time just jamming out, little mini jam sessions. Remind me again, what is Riza's instrument of choice? It's an ocarina, right?
Yeah.
correct.
So where have you been playing that? Have you been playing that in the sort of common room a little bit, do you think?
Pretty much. So the easy answer, pretty much whenever inspiration strikes, right?
Okay, cool.
So
So you're not like
when
hiding
she's
out and doing it.
no.
Okay.
She's very much like, this is a nice day outside. Oh, let me play some music.
Got it.
So common room, outside, even in her own room. Um, yeah, but she's not hiding it.
Okay, cool. That's the main question is just if others can see it, because sure enough, you quickly catch the eye of another musically inclined individual. She comes up to you and just gives you like a little like chin, like what up kind of thing.
So
So
who is it?
Aurora, the Dampier, interested in Witherbloom, who you also know as a hurdy-gurdy artist, who apparently changed her name to her stage name legally, has approached you and is looking at you as you're playing the ocarina in the central quad, central campus. Let me switch us over to central campus. So she approaches you. You're probably standing near the central statue, around the big sort of floating sky stones, and she just looks at you. Nice inspiration strike.
Yeah, it was just sitting here, really getting settled in, and I was just admiring how beautiful the day is, and I wanted to play a little music.
It is
Care to
nice,
join me?
right? You know what?
Yes.
Sure. She plops down next to you and pulls a hurdy-gurdy out of a bag that was definitely too small for the hurdy-gurdy. And she just starts jamming along. She closes her eyes and just leans into the music and starts playing. Let's see what her performance check is. Let's also have you roll a performance check for me.
Oh no.
Let's have you roll first for me.
All right. Hell yeah.
A 19.
Nice.
You are doing great. Let's see what hers is. She isn't.
Oh.
You notice that she really likes what you're playing, and she keeps on trying to put a harmony to it. But it technically is a harmony, but it feels very much so more like the like more just analytical. Like this is the sound that works well with that. Not quite. It doesn't quite have the soul to it. And you can see her kind of get frustrated at one point, and then just put away her hurdy-gurdy, and then looks over you, tilts her head. So, do you want to go somewhere else that might offer a bit more inspiration? I'm kind of not grooving with here, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I can do that. I'll put my ocarina away and then be ready to go.
Cool. She will take you. Do I have the art for this? I don't. She's gonna take you off toward the or no, she'll start walking toward these the oh my god, English is hard. The Witherbloom campus. But then she'll stop and give you a look. She'll like furrow her brow. You're not super into swamps and stuff, I take it. Let's go somewhere
No.
else. How about that? She instead leads you toward the Prismari campus. As you get there, my die is still in the middle. Okay. As you get there, she walks you through the campus, through all of these crazy twirling magical formations, and walks you all the way through to an area called the Fury Gale. Now, you've seen this in the distance, but you've never actually been there. As you're standing in front of this writhing nexus of magic, it really seems as if the magic itself of this area is almost trying to pull the world apart. You see twisting ink blots that then explode into fireworks and then turn into what looks like almost horses of fire galloping through the sky, that then splashes into a pool of water and turns into a water elemental. Everything is mutable, and every second you look, things tend to shift and change. Almost as if the land itself is an ever-changing, ever-mutable piece of art.
God.
So, the Fury Gale. It's where half-finished projects sometimes end up. Apparently it started actually by one of the current deans. She or they got, well, their final was explosive, to put it mildly, their thesis project. And just since then, this area has kind of had a bit more, I guess it's a bit more in tune with wild magic. It, when I'm looking for inspiration, sometimes this just is kind of the perfect spot. Because I can sit and look, and I just can follow one particle. She points out at a single, what looks like almost just like a blob of water, no bigger than a golf ball. I can just choose one thing and follow it. And the way it changes and evolves in just 1 minute is incredible. Sure enough, that one water blob at one point is a part of a fire elemental. No longer a blob of water, but fire itself. Then it's flowing ink. Then it's mist. Then it is paint on a canvas that seems to materialize out of clouds. And then it's the hoof of a Pegasus. It all is very mutable, very wonderful, to put it simply. It's definitely unlike anything you've seen before. And even from a distance, it didn't quite give it justice like where you're standing now. Out on this little precipice pinnacle that makes it feel like you're right in the heart of it, but still up above and safe. Much like in this picture, how this is out on a platform here. It's that kind of platform. Just take off this tower and this whole open space is the Fury Gale, just whipping around you. You feel gusts of wind and the occasional blast of heat or cold, but nothing that is beyond the realm of normal. She looks at you again. Care to try playing something here?
Yes, let's do it.
So here's the question. Do you find this place, or does Ryza find this place inspirational? Or this experience inspirational?
She would be first overwhelmed by all everything that she's seeing right now. She's like you said, saw it from a distance and didn't really grasp the scale of this area. And at first she's overwhelmed, but then starting to kind of settle in and realize, oh, okay, I see what you're talking about, Aurora. I can see why you would find inspiration here. And then she's like, yeah, let's play. I think we can do something here.
Cool. So have advantage on this performance check for me. She's also going to have advantage, and we're going to see if you guys can make a rockin' hurdy-gurdy ocarina jam sesh.
Okay.
So that's a crit. That's fantastic. Let's see what she does, shall we? Not great. That is a 10 and a 12. But with your crit, it doesn't have to be great. She started off definitely like she was playing like she wanted to be kind of the, I would say lead vocal, but the lead instrument. But it very quickly became obvious that your ocarina was taking that role. So she quickly, as one does when you sort of improvise music with one another, she quickly began to adapt her playing to yours to augment it, to be that sort of backup, the bass player to the guitarist, in this case. Not saying every bass player is second fiddle to a guitarist. That's not what I mean. But she very much so works to augment your playing. And about maybe a minute into your guys' song, you notice something fascinating. The magic in the Fury Gale, this fiery elemental gazelle, seems to be hopping through the air on an invisible floor to the rhythm of your song. And sure enough, a spiral of ink twists up next to you and pops right as you hit a note. Another spirals around you, and a gush of wind flows across you right as you reach a crescendo, and then the explosions settle as you go into a slower, softer piano section. And by the second minute, the Fury Gale is performing alongside you. Every single element of it twisting and turning and transforming and being affected by the music you're playing. Never have you felt so intrinsically listened to by the world itself as you have playing this song right here. And like every piece of music, it eventually comes to an end. And for a second or two, there's nothing in the Fury Gale before it explodes in what can only be described as a cacophony of chaotic, wild magic applause. Explosions, fireworks, bursts of ink, prancing elementals. And then, before long, it's back to what it was before. A riling, forceful thing with a life of its own.
I got goosebumps. That was really cool.
I told you it's a fun place to play music, says Aurora as she gives you a smirk. And just so you know, that was all you, Ryza. I just added a few little notes here and there. I think the Fury Gale likes you. I haven't seen it do that before.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for showing me this place. I don't know how to explain it, but it just makes me think everything's going to be okay. We're going to have a good year.
We are. She gives you a sideways, or I guess half smile, just one side of her lip kind of twisting up in a very charming way. That still kind of captures that, like, I don't care about anything vibe that she's definitely going for, but also conveys some of the tenderness that this whole experience evoked. Just, we musicians better stick together, right? Even if we end up going to different colleges.
Always.
I suppose I'll let you be here for as long as you want. I have a class I gotta get to, but if you ever want to jam again, you know where to find me. And
I will let you know.
she goes on her way.
And Razor goes, bye, thank you for playing with me.
She turns around and like gives you a wink with like a little air guitar. Yeah, I did a finger gun. That's me. She does like a little wink with like an air guitar or air lute. I'm so sorry. And then
It's pretty cool.
yeah. Congrats, you just made friends with the edgy goth chick.
Yeah, I was like,
the punk rocker.
See,
So cute.
it was.
Meanwhile, during this week, I say meanwhile, but during this week, Nim decides that he wants to get some fresh air in a place that feels a bit more natural, right? So he decides that he's going to trek around the Witherbloom campus. Witherbloom campus is definitely a unique place where the buildings are grown from the very trees themselves and things have a very hive-like energy to them. And not just that. Sorry, I'm laughing at chat. Sorry, it's really funny. It's just me making friends with Melody.
I didn't see that.
Okay. Same, honestly. Melody's our manic pixie dream goth.
No.
No, I'm just messing with you. But that is kind of Aurora, let's be real.
Melody is Aurora.
A little bit.
So you find your way. You wind your way across these bridges that are grown into shape, and eventually work your way from Widdershin's Hall, which is in the center, over to Sedgemoor. As you're walking, you see certain signs and what can only be described as wards, blocking off a much denser area of the swamp. There's
What
no.
did they say?
Sorry, I should say when I say signs, I literally mean think of like in this artwork we have big glowing yellow orbs and like window type things, but there's also these smaller blue glowing lights. Imagine those, but orchestrated in a way that feels they're on every tree in a line. And you get the implication that it's a barrier of sort, a warding barrier. All the paths seem to walk around this and not into it. And you don't see any creatures crossing this barrier. You see the water of the swamp flowing between, but you see no creatures of any kind. Again, plants seem to grow across this barrier, so you're not sure if it's so much a barrier or just lights. But your passive wisdom is high enough to know that it's not just lights. But you think Giuseppe might not know that if he were here. It's that kind of vibe, right? Like, to the trained eye, you can tell this is a magical ward of some kind, blocking off a section of the swamp. However, the section you're walking into right now that is not blocked off by this ward, you know for a fact is the Sedgemoor Swamp, which is what is open to the students, which is what is considered part of the campus. You don't know what lies on the other side of the barrier.
Forest.
There are still enough people around, including some wearing Witherbloom robes as well as some faculty robes, that if you cared to ask anyone what that barrier was, you probably could and probably get a decent answer.
Okay. Do I see anyone particular that I might recognize?
Why don't you roll for me? Let's do that.
Okay. What do you want me to roll?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have to tell you what to roll. I'm all like, oh yeah, let's just wait for it to pop up. Roll a perception for me.
He's overwhelmed.
Did it? What was it? It's delaying
It
on our
was-
end.
5.
A 5. Okay. I love that. You don't actually see anyone you know. And sure enough, as you keep walking, because you're not going to slow down, right? Like, you're going to keep going, and if someone passes by, you'll ask. You're not going to go out of your way to ask. Eventually,
Okay,
there's...
can you do something else?
That was
Can I
supposed
do
to be
something
hidden.
else?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Okay, so he's gonna take out like a little frog that he keeps in his pocket.
Oh my god.
And he's gonna like nudge it towards the barrier, like go, like to walk into the barrier. 'cause he
So at
wants to
this
see what
point, you're like standing in the water, like swamp edge, like right next to the barrier.
happens. Yeah.
Okay. You try to nudge the frog into the barrier. Roll an animal handling check for me. The frog really does not want to go into this barrier. It's kind of like looking at you like how a cat that you're trying to train to do a dog trick might look at you. Yeah, it's very much so looking at you like,
20.
I don't know what you're expecting of me. A fucking
a 20.
20. You know, you
Lead 'em
quickly
in.
tell it what you're expecting of it, and he's like, oh, okay. And then it turns around. I know, so anticlimactic. Turns around and hops through the barrier.
Yep.
And maybe there isn't a barrier there because you didn't see anything ripple or anything like that. It crosses by, goes, about 3 feet into the swamp, and then like turns around and looks at you like, was that really all you wanted? And then it just
Yeah, he'll, like,
hops.
call it back.
Then it
Sassy
like
frog.
just hops on back to you across this little barrier and right back into your hand.
Nim wants to put his hand through the barrier, or at least try.
Okay. As you're pulling your hand back to stick it through the barrier, you hear a sort of grinding, echoing voice behind you. I wouldn't do that if I were you, little Nimmy.
Turn around.
And this treant stands behind you. She gets the vibe, she gives off the feeling of being small. But that's just because she's hunched over. In reality, her whole sort of hunched posture and her big tree trunk of legs and draping branch hair ends up creating a big, imposing figure that is easily 7 feet tall while hunched. It's one of those individuals that if you saw in a photo, you might think they were a small, 4 foot tall old woman. But in truth, this figure is quite unique and quite intimidating. The branches from its forehead give off a antler-like vibe, and she extends a hand toward you. The glowing green bottle-type structures hanging off of her branches jostling as she extends a hand to you.
Yeah, he'll take it, and he'll smile. He'll smile at her.
How are you settling in here, young man?
Oh, as well as I can. I haven't seen you since you showed up at my house.
Yes. They sent me to recruit you, as we've discussed this before. I hope no one, specifically that Niels fellow, is giving you too much of a fright.
No, he seems pretty nice. If you're following what he wants you to do.
She lets out a laugh that kind of sounds like bark scraping against bark. That's an apt description of the man. I remember when he was a student here.
Really?
Care for some tea? She starts
Yes, please.
gesturing you further into the swamp, not across that barrier, however.
So, what would have happened if I put my hand through there?
For most everyone, nothing. For you, she looks over the shoulder and looks back at you and then frowns. My guess is we'd have to get the faculty involved to get you back over.
Oh,
Demagoth.
why?
Demagoth blood, after all, can be a bit, problematic when you cross a ward meant to keep creatures such as Demagoths in place.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
That is the detention bog.
Oh,
You've probably heard of it from other students. They say that students take detention in there.
I heard some students go in there and never come back.
I mean, that would be true, but, no one's supposed to step foot in there. Those
What if they have
enemies of...
detention?
It's not for detaining students, it's for detaining threats.
Oh, yeah, I probably shouldn't walk in there.
Not unless you care to come across some of the deepest and darkest evils this world has to offer.
He'll just raise his eyebrows, like,
Oh yes, it makes your Demagoth Lord look like a little child.
Don't tempt me. I already want to go in there.
Oh, you do not know what lies within. After all, Lord Witherbloom stays within to help maintain the barrier itself.
Interesting.
I know what you're thinking, young man, she says, wagging a finger, not even turning around.
He's like, no, it's only the second week of school. Don't want to get in trouble. on my
Also,
first week of
keep
school."
in mind, other students might be able to playfully sneak in and sneak out, but you'll come back to this barrier, and you won't be able to cross over.
That's true.
I don't think that's
Thank you for
something
telling
you
me
want
before I
to have
did it.
to deal with. The hand
No, I
thing
don't.
probably would have been fine. The majority of your essence was on this side, but I didn't want to deal with your hand getting stuck. Or, cleaving. I feel like cleaving was probably more likely.
Like it getting chopped off.
I prefer the term cleaved off, but, yes.
Oh, well, I need my hand, so I won't do that.
That's wise. That's very wise. She leads you into a hut. You get the feeling that this is not necessarily her home, but a sort of offshoot building that the Witherbloom campus uses. Inside, there are a few students, most of which look to be second years and up. You see absolutely no first years. Everyone's in Witherbloom attire, some of which drinking tea, some of which hanging out with their friends. It seems very much so like a, I would say common room, but it's probably closer to a, I guess, Witherbloom, like, tavern. Think of that kind of warm lighting with the chandelier, the fireplace,
Yeah.
but it's all grown.
Yeah.
And it's very
Nice.
clearly Witherbloom centered.
We're here for it.
She thumps on through, and once she's inside a building, my god, does she look too large and very out of place. You realize a good foot of her was under the water surface of the swamp, so now she's a good 8 feet tall, even making Nim look like a child next to her.
Did she just rise from the swamp? Like,
Yes,
she was fully
absolutely.
submerged?
She did like the whole like rise, and you see the bottom of her feet are just like a whole bunch of roots that had started to grow in the water, and it has like that like
Amazing.
like the like moss level on her legs of like I've been standing in the swamp for ages. Remember, she is a treant, so she is an animated tree. And yeah, honestly, it is a mood. She leads you through the room over to a counter, and then she pats you on the back very gently, but it's very slow. It seems like her idea of, I guess, time is a little different than yours. She seems to take her time in her talking and take her time in all of her actions. Everything seems very deliberate. And this is intense fight music for what is literally a fucking tavern and like a grandma. But
So what was playing as she was rising?
yeah, and it took her that long to rise up. There it is. Okay. Eventually, she gestures to someone behind the counter, and then gestures to you. They'll take good care of you. Now I have to go and fetch a few other students who are milling about in the swamp. She rolls her eyes a little bit and then chuckles and looks at you. First years always tend to start getting lost around this week. And then she just stumbles on out. Like, apparently, like, she obviously has a connection to you, but it's also her job to fetch all the first years who think they're smart and can just wander into the swamp. So she's on, like, first year wrangling duty. As she just, like, stumbles out. On her back, you notice, like, in between her branches, there's, like, one branch that, like, has a little, like, it's like horizontal and there's like a little sign hanging from it that says like hold on here, that you're sure like is used for in deeper parts of the swamp, like if a student can't like get through it, they have to hold on to her back. Like she very much so, you can tell she's the one that probably monitors the swamp and makes sure that students aren't dumb and go into the detention bog. You will also be able to tell that you're pretty sure she detected you magically, not just that she happened to be where you are.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The person in question who comes up behind the bar is a beautiful young woman. Can I help you?
Oh my god! Sorry, she's so cool.
This is... It looks like she's a dryad of some kind. May I help you? The name's Della. You are...
My name's Nim.
Nim. Pleasure. So, I did the wrong voice. I meant to make it more Cockney. Sorry. Nim, pleasure to meet you. The name's Della. I'm a big, I take it you got lost in the swamp.
More intentionally than on
We all
accident.
do that. She starts making a tea, and you're pretty sure you just watched her put a dollop of dirt in it.
Hell yeah.
She's just mixing it, talking to you. So, first year with a bloom, I'm assuming? Or at least with a
Yes.
bloom perspective. Are those Daemagoth eyes and horns I see there? It's pretty rare.
Yeah. They are.
It's nice. I like him. Adds a nice little
thanks.
pizzazz to you. I bet not a lot of the first years know what a Daemagoth is, do they?
No, my friends don't seem to know what they are.
Well, I promise you it's going to be a bit awkward when they get to the Daemagoth section of the lecture, so I apologize ahead of time if they give you weird looks, but we all know that our looks are
That's
just
already
that, looks.
happened.
She looks at you and you can see a sort of like sorrowful look in her eyes. She's like, well, I'm sorry to hear that, darling. Here.
I think you look really cool too.
Oh, well, thank you. I am a dryad. Don't know if you've interacted with a lot of us. Last to my grove, unfortunately, but here I am nonetheless.
Who's that on your shoulder?
This thing. She pulls it off her shoulder, and it's a pest. Oh, sorry. Just an ingredient for someone's tea. She reaches over to another tea that she was preparing, and then rings the pest. And you watch just glowing green energy flow out of the pest, like it's like an orange, like just squirting like juice out of it. But like as she releases it, it's just a desiccated corpse in her hand. Like a dried, like really desiccated. Think of like a mummy, like all shriveled and no liquid left. And she just like tosses it in a trash can.
Before she does,
or
Nim's
I say
like,
trash
"Are you
can. It's
going
a
to keep
compost
that?"
pile. It's like a compost pile. As she does, she's like, "Oh no, you want it? Here," and she just tosses
Thanks.
it to you. The
He
drink in
gets it.
question she made is now like glowing green. As she takes it off, she's like, "Be right back, darling," and she goes to give it to another student. Then she comes back, brushing off her hands. So, yeah, I'm happy you got just enough macabre to like it here, so that's good.
It's perfect.
Well, I'm glad you
No
like
other
it.
college would suit me.
Well, I can say the same. I'm all about trying to figure out the secrets of life, and, well, you can't figure out the secrets of life just making some calculations now, can you? Got to understand what life is. So, yeah. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Nim.
Yeah, you too.
And I hope someday you can be part of my college.
Yeah,
And
me too. I'll
maybe,
see you around, I guess.
yeah. Well, hopefully, know that this place is open to you. Just not a lot of first years know about it. I imagine our good old lady, she delivered you here because she wanted you to make some friends or get some support. She doesn't usually drop off first years here, but doesn't mean first years aren't welcome. And if she dropped
She's
you
really
here, it's for
kind.
a reason. Willow Dusk does tend to know what's good for us, even when we don't. So I have a feeling she wanted me to meet you. So
I think so too.
she extends a hand to you to shake. Here's to
Yeah.
hopefully a long and fruitful friendship, yeah?
Friends, yeah, I'd love to be friends. Yeah, and he'll take her hand and shake it.
Yeah, her skin, as you sort of shake it, it gives off this slight fragrant scent. You can't quite place what it is, but you're pretty sure it's an herb of some kind. Whether that's a lavender or some other kind of, I hesitate to say harsher scent, but it's that kind of noticeable sort of herb and spice smell. But very much so a natural scent. Well, I sometimes serve a bit as a unofficial guidance counselor for With the Bloom. So if you ever want to just chat, I'm here. Think of me as, well, I suppose they actually modeled it after me, but I hear there's a second year doing something similar over in your dorms, but obviously at first she gives a little smirk and sips on some tea. I just think my tea scares away the other colleges. But
Oh, that's ridiculous. It looks delicious.
yeah, well, they don't like it when I ring pests into them, so yeah. But
Cowards.
I mean, you'll speak my language, but either way, if you ever need to chat or your friends do, feel free to come on over.
Yeah, I'll definitely tell them about you.
Yeah. Well, I better get going, but till next time.
Okay, bye.
She gives you a little nod and then goes off to brew more potions, teas, as she said. They definitely look like potions. The only thing that makes it not a potion is that she's putting it in a teacup once she's done. but like it's the
Nice.
full on like the beaker over the like Bunsen burner kind of like setup.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, no one makes tea that way. But apparently
Nim's
she does.
very fascinated. He wants to know all about that.
Yeah, well, Della goes about her way. You can stay as long as you like, but congrats, you have found this small little haven in
All
a
right.
crazy swamp.
It's a little Strixhaven.
Oh my god! Okay, I walked into that one. Also, she's stunning, and I love that artwork. So just throwing that out there.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Claps for all the artwork.
Yeah, it's all so all the artwork is official D&D and Magic the Gathering artwork. Because after all, Strixhaven does come from a Magic the Gathering set, even though we are adapting it to our own setting. And Wizards of the Coast owns both companies. So all the artwork you see in this game is going to be from Wizards of the Coast IP. So that means either Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons. If not, it's artwork that we have commissioned or done ourselves. We're not going to use any artwork that's not that because we don't want to take credit for something that's not ours on stream. The D&D artwork is part of D&D, and it's part of our their company's artwork in general, falls into our sort of fair use for streaming. So we're sticking with that. But also, it helps that their artwork is absolutely stunning. And then we can step over into the Magic side of that a little bit, just because it's the same company. But again, all of this art...
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. But all of this art you can find online with some really cool high-res versions of it as well. Also, a lot of these characters you can even find as Magic cards if you guys are into Magic the Gathering, which can be fun. Do keep in mind the Magic the Gathering storyline for Strixhaven is very different than the route that we're going because it is in a very different world than ours. And some characters even have different names. But there can be some fun crossover there too. There's also official stories online as well if you want to read stuff that gives a little bit more Strixhaven vibes. Including a great story about this character and Killian, the son of the Dean.
Ooh.
I'll also keep in mind that detention bog in that setting is literally a bog for students who have detention. But no, I like the idea that it's not that. So it's not that in our setting.
Yeah.
Sorry. The weekend has come, right? Everyone did what they wanted to do during the week. I just want to make sure I didn't forget about anyone. And as the weekend rolls around, people are wanting to research in the library, as well as meet with Eudora, our groundskeeper, and Tavash, the Gloom Summoner. I think that's his name. Yes, it is. I didn't know if I had his title right. So, as the weekend rolls around, as it do be doing sometimes, we go into a new month. Ew, exciting. I think... Did that do anything? No, it didn't! Oh, dang. I got so excited. That didn't do anything. Now it will. Papa. Oh, no! Okay.
Goodbye, calendar.
It's fine. This was intentional. I put all the map, What the fuck? Oh, okay. Okay. I get it now. I apologize, guys. The actual background image, this has to go to back. There we go! That is the wrong month. Okay. I might have messed this up, guys. Yay! Okay. I think we're in Frostfall now. Oh shit, I fucked up. Never mind, we're not.
Is it winter?
We're in Moran. It is winter. So let me double check. I have an actual document that tells me this, and I just need to make sure I didn't mess up my months because
We
apparently
all just go
I'm
outside,
struggling.
and
It's suddenly
it's like
snowing.
Stardew Valley, and everyone's wearing the jumpers, and it's snowing every day, and we're like, what the hell?
Yeah, so Moran is our proper month right now. So,
That means nothing to me.
yeah, it literally only means it to me. I just was proud of myself for making a like. Oh shoot! Damn it.
Cute little calendar.
Yeah. So I will say, just a quick overview of what our calendar looks like here. We have 2 moons in our world, Aina and Io. Now, they both, one is smaller than the other. Aina's smaller, but it's made out of solid silver. This silver is known as moon silver. And moon silver has a lot of the magical components, oftentimes attributed with silver in fantasy settings. It can be found on the Earth because rumor has it, the moon used to be part of the material plane before it was pulled up to the sky.
Moon final boss. Calling it now. You heard it.
There's a mountain on another continent called Ainur, which is rumor has it the remnant of of where the moon once was, kind of like a big sort of drip spike. That's what's left over. Carly's smiling because that is from our campaign that we played, and they had a whole bit in Ainur. Yeah, so the first moon is that, and the second moon is Io, which is a lot larger. These symbols symbolize their phases, and months are determined by their phases. Eventually, the new year ends on a month that is just a single day, where there is a solar eclipse, where both moons align over the sun, and that is considered a day of intense magical power and typically bad luck. So you don't want to do something that could incite the anger of a magical being, because those in outer realms, such as the Feywild or Shadowfell, have greater influence over the world at those times. Whether or not that's actually true or just folktale, it is what it is. But you have a lot of time until that happens. This semester will end in the month before that, and that whole month is considered a bad luck month, named after a god of chaos and madness itself. So that's fun.
Melody, you writing this shit down?
Doesn't matter too much. If it does matter more than anything, if it does matter, I'll rehash it. This is just some world building I did that I'm gonna share because I did it. But yeah, so you're on to the month of Moran, and as you guys explore this, 13 months of the year, 1 month of 1 day. So I guess 13 months and then 1 day, each month 4 weeks. So it's like 360 days, I think, something like that. It's pretty close to our calendar year. I'm not going to do math now because this is fantasy. But I did do math when I made it. What am I saying? You guys, what do you want to do first? Do you want to talk to Tavash? Do you want to explore the biblioplex, sorry? Or do you want to meet the groundskeeper? I'm assuming you're doing all of these things together, but you can also split up for it as well. Any takers? Anyone have a...
Yeah.
Okay.
Kay will probably initiate going to see Tavash since, like earlier, she didn't have time to talk to him since she has to literally run to class afterwards. But
Cool.
whatever his office hours are, I don't know if they're over the weekend.
It's
or if we're just trying to find him at his office.
You can find him during the weekend. Most all professors live on campus or nearby enough and have office hours during the weekend, at least at some point. It is very much so a full-time job to work at Strixhaven. And Strixhaven is effectively a small city. Not even small. You do find his office. It is on the Witherbloom campus proper because he is a bona fide tenured Witherbloom professor. Not an adjunct faculty like Verelda Lang, your magical biology teacher. Tavash, in very sort of, I would say, predictable fashion, only because he does not give the vibe of someone who likes a big sunny place. His office is below the surface level of the swamp in this building. The windows of this office, as you step in, are open to the swamp, but of course it's swampy water. So the glass panes only show water that maybe goes out a good, meter or two, maybe 6 feet. Sorry, I realize measuring systems. But yeah, maybe goes out about 6 feet. Every once in a while you see something move through the water, but it's a little hard to see what it is. A lot of times you think it might actually be a vine or a plant of some kind. His office gives very Snape's potions kind of vibe. It's not quite dungeony because this place is grown. So it's very much so roots and whatnot that are twisting into this pattern and is somehow watertight with this kind of glass, almost like looks like a resin that might have been excreted by a plant or a creature making this window. But it definitely has that kind of slightly low ceilings, a little bit damp, a little bit darker than you might want. There's also various runes and whatnot carved into the ground that you can tell are summoning circles and other various long-term magical aids. He is in there. He's not with any other... so a lot like how the ground looks here, that's kind of like the walls and whatnot. It's very organic. But there are some rugs here and there. He's not meeting with any other students, and as you come in, he is over a table mixing ingredients in some kind of... it doesn't quite look like a potion, but it does look like he's making a draft of some kind, some small elixir to aid with spell components, perhaps. As you come in, he just sort of waves his hand back to you, not really looking, and just says, "Hello, yes, they'll be with you in a moment." And he finishes up what looks to be some very intricate mixing and measuring gestures in the almost blink of an eye. You can tell he's very practiced at whatever he's making. He sets it to the side, and you watch as the liquid almost ignites with a green flame before turning crystal clear. He gives it a little nod and then turns around to you, brushing off his hands, even though there's nothing on them. And he looks at you all, and he's like, I did not expect to see so many of you.
What you making?
Simple spell component. Nothing of consequence to you. He eyes the group, and his eyes linger on the students who he does not teach. So mainly Evelina and Riza. I see you brought a gaggle to speak with me. So I assume this is not about our class? He looks at
something
Nim,
much
Kay, and
more
Syntax. Oh, one
You
at
can
a
go,
time.
Kay. Oh.
Well, we had some questions we wanted to ask you about
Obviously, you'd
Eldritch
only be
Bomb.
here if you had questions for me. Eldritch Bomb? And why are you suddenly interested in that?
We've
found it
come
on some-
upon it a few times.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
on like some giant frogs and I guess a mimic. that they fought.
Okay, so you're investigating the weirdness. You're not just here about the Eldritch Bomb. Please, do not waste my time. So you're wondering how Eldritch Bomb could alter living material in a way that is problematic, yes? You're not the first person to ask about this, but the others were faculty and Dragon's Guard, not students and first years at that. So do tell me, in what world do you think I would give you information that could endanger you and endanger this institution? In what world are you the ones fit to investigate this? Please tell me. If you can convince me, I will help you, but I doubt you will.
I do think asking about how it can give agency to substances, which is how it's used as it is without these weird occurrences, I don't think that's very suspicious for us
No,
to
it's
ask and
not,
to want
and
to
I
know.
will tell you that, but I am also not a fool. I know why you're here. Mavinda talks. She has said that there are first years who are inclined to help. Am I wrong? Please tell me if I am.
I mean, we'll figure it out with or without your help eventually.
I'm sure you will. That is not my. That is not in question. The question is whether you will figure it out before or after the faculty and the Dragon's Guard. Because if you figure it out after, then there's no harm done. It's a good educational tool. If you figure it out before, you will jump headfirst into something that you cannot handle because you are first years.
Feel
What
like
makes
if we
this so
figured it out-
difficult? Why is this something we
figured it out,
can't
we would
handle?
tell you.
One at a time, please.
Jesus.
Nim,
So
shut up!
sweet.
No.
No.
I'm saying that as him. I'm not
Okay.
trying to be
Yeah, I
mean.
know.
I had an opportunity, so I seized it. Yeah.
Is this really so dangerous that we can't handle it ourselves? I'm just more curious as to who would be doing something like this.
That is the question, isn't it? Look, we do not, and I will be honest with you, we do not know who is doing this, which is why it could be dangerous or it could be nothing. So, make your case. Why do I tell you?
Well, maybe we'll figure it out faster than the Dragon's Guard or the faculty.
Yes, and you definitely will if I tell you. So if I'm trying to slow you down, I don't tell you. So that is just a reason not to tell you, yes?
So you already know.
Oh, I know that. I know information about it. I know what you're asking, how it works. Yes? I know
I
information.
think a good case for us is that we've come upon this issue twice, and if it were to continue without us even looking or trying to find answers, there's the potential for us to get hurt without even trying. So if you're able to give us information to help protect us as students, which a couple of times that it's happened, we're not in faculty's view at that moment, then you'll be helping us protect ourselves.
Yeah, see? You are a smart one. That is an argument, please. Roll a persuasion check. And that is a 15, an 18. It's a little dark on the for the stream, but it's an 18 down there. You can see. He smiles at you. Again, it is all a learning experience. I may not be Silver Quill, but everyone needs to know how to make a convincing argument. You do make a point that if I tell you, you have the opportunity to be safer. You understand why it is dangerous, you understand why it works the way it works, and you can avoid situations that could cause you more harm. Or you could go and seek out said situations. However, that is an issue for Nils and for Mavinda, not an issue for me. He walks over to the thing he was mixing, the clear substance, and he grabs it. And then he throws it to Kaerthana. Tosses, not like throw. He like tosses it.
I was like, damn.
I'm assuming you catch it, right? Okay, I'm
Roll
assuming.
an acrobatics.
I'm not gonna make you roll. I wasn't going to make you roll, but Melody said that, and I really want to see you fail. So roll.
Oh.
It's literally going to be like
Why
a
would you
DC,
do it?
it's going to be like a DC, 8.
What am I
What if
rolling?
I put it? We're
Acrobatics?
gonna
Acrobatics or athletics, whatever
sleight
you
of
want.
hand.
Or a sleight
got
of hand. Or a sleight of hand.
Just
Nah,
roll whatever.
son.
Fucking 20. You're fine. You catch it and you look awesome while you're doing it. Like you catch it and like your robes like billow just a little as you like rotate to it. Like it's a fucking awesome moment. Okay, I really wanted you to miss. He would have just been like, get out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like,
Yeah, I know.
it just would have been a get out, like nothing else. Okay. And then he says, see that thing I'm mixing there? It looks quite normal, no? Notice its viscosity is a little bit thicker than that of water, but other than that, it looks like water. That is part of our mix for Eldritch Balm. The rest is actually, believe it or not, water. There's a spring in the Sedgemoor that produces a certain kind of water. Its purity is surprising, and with these components, it is able to, well, it is able to create a balm that increases the agency. This is supposed to imbue agency, but not particularly life agency, into an object. It strengthens its correction, I messed up. It is supposed to imbue substance into something. Make it stronger, make it more durable. However, what we are noticing is it imbuing agency as well as substance. I, as the professor who mixes the Eldritch Balm, have reviewed my ingredients and reviewed all of the recipe for the balm, and there are no issues on my end. So deduce with me. I'm still a teacher, so you are still going to be getting this information like it's a lesson. If the issue does not lie in the recipe, then where does it lie? An ingredient, correct. Now, I told you that I've looked at all of my ingredients. But there's one ingredient that is harder to look at. What ingredient might that be?
The spring.
Exactly. Therefore, there is something corrupting the spring water in Sedgemoor.
How far is it? Is somebody watch it, or do you just come and collect when you need to?
It is monitored, as all of Sedgemoor is monitored, but certain essences, certain corruptions can be difficult to track by traditional means. If you are wondering if any students have been in the area, no more than usual. And none doing any suspicious behavior. Though we have begun to crack down on students who tend to linger in the Sedgemoor a bit longer than usual. He gives Nim a little bit of a side smile.
He'll smile back. He knows.
Yeah, and it's not like a bad smile or anything. It's just a like, we know we're talking about you, right? And then he'll turn back to the group. So, if the corruption is still occurring, but we have eliminated the student possibility, or there is not a very weird involvement of an outsider that we can tell in the immediate vicinity, then this corruption must be coming from somewhere else, yes? It is true that our newest batches of Eldritch Balm, knowing what to test for, we are able to detect its corruption and thus have not made new batches. But old batches that might have been produced before we knew of the corruption might still be out there, which means things might still be a bit unpredictable. We believe we've harvested most of it, But again, it is a big institution, and though we are organized, things can still fall through the holes. Especially if there is, in fact, someone involved in the situation. So yes, that is all the information you're going to be getting. The spring seems to be getting corrupted. Does not appear to be from a person in the immediate vicinity of the spring. So it is something else corrupting the spring in the Sedgemoor.
One last question.
Yes, Kay. Earthana, I do not do nicknames. He's saying that more to himself than anything else because he just definitely did a nickname. Yeah, continue.
Besides destruction and resorting to violence, has anything been found by the faculty yet to get rid of these items or take the agency away from these items that have been coming to life?
Yes, it's simply time. It does not matter if you fight, destroy, or do anything. It is simply time.
So it'll wear off
It
eventually.
will wear off eventually. Whether you fight it or not, it will rampage, and then it will wear off. Killing does not stop the rampage, except for the fact that it is impossible to rampage if it is not alive. It is not the cure, it is simply a way to stop destruction. If you can find a means other than destruction, even better. Spells that hold creatures and hold people, should a person ever be corrupted by this, though I doubt that is particularly possible, would be helpful in that endeavor. If my calculations are correct, and they typically are, I would say it probably would last for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the amount of Eldritch Balm used. What is curious is the length of time for it to activate. It seems that inanimate objects require more time for it to truly permeate the object, whereas a living organism, it just needs to enter the, well, if it is digested proper. Simply putting it on skin does not seem to do anything, from what we can tell.
So, just to make sure we're all on the same page, something was added to the spring, and then when you were collecting samples of this and making the balm, that's when the issue arose.
Correct. Whether it is a tangible corruption in the water or an essence corruption, it is difficult to tell. The water seems normal for spring water inside of a swamp. It is only when mixed with the components that it manifests its altered nature.
Exactly. It's some sort of magical or chemical reaction, maybe with whatever you're adding to it.
Exactly. The catalysts help bring forth the wrong result.
So if you had are you able to maybe look at samples of this Eldritch Balm and piece it apart to see maybe if something was added after? Maybe whatever is added to this, finding out what that is the clue that would potentially help find a direction of who might be doing this.
He points at the balm in Kaertana's hand. What do you think I'm doing, young man?
Did you find anything yet?
I do not believe it to be a physical thing. Which makes it a lot harder to track. Would this be some mundane poisoning? It's quite simple. You just extract the poison or the... No, it's definitely magical, which is why I encourage you to keep your distance. Even if it is not a person behind this. It could be a dangerous magical phenomenon, or a magical creature, or let us hope not, but something from the detention bog. The detention bog has reinforced many times, but that does not stop things from finding new ways out.
Clever.
Oh, you have no idea.
I have one more question, and it's more about the water itself. What happens if you were to drink it on its own? You said it strengthens and makes things stronger.
Only if mixed appropriately. On its own, it will simply be water. Nothing special. We
So
believe
it's
it
not imbued with Aeon or life essence or anything like that.
You see him kind of give you a quizzical look. I do not know that first term. What did you say?
Aeon?
Interesting.
I just thought it meant life essence.
Interesting. I suggest you get that antiquated term out of your head. It means nothing. It is simply just a term that is not used anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, just to clarify, is this like an in-character-y thing, or you're making it work in character, Emerson? Because I'll roll an insight if this is a character thing.
Oh yeah,
I'd
roll
like
a character thing to that. Like he used a term, or sorry, he used a term that caught Tavash off guard, as in like really confused off guard.
Cool.
Yeah, so roll and see if you
Yeah.
believe what he's saying.
That's a red flag thing.
It is a very big red flag.
Okay. It's rolling.
Yeah.
I'll pop out the picture so that we can see people's rolls a little bit better.
It's not great. It's a 9.
That is not good.
Carly.
I will say this is going to be a bit of a harder check.
Yeah.
What are we rolling for?
If you guys think he's being suspicious and you would like to roll an insight, you can.
Nim wants to roll an insight. He's not sure he believes him.
Go for it.
Oh, that's sad.
I'm loving this. That is a 9 and a 5.
Of course you are.
Yeah, it's great. I love dropping stuff. I hate when people like crit and then you have to tell everything. That is a crit fail from Ryza. Ryza, yeah. Name using weird terms.
What?
Yeah, Ryza doesn't even notice. Like, Ryza's been staring at the ball and being like, but it looks like water.
Just whoa.
So I think the last one we have is Evelina. Is Evelina going to roll an insight?
Oh, I was not paying attention after hearing a certain name. What are we inciting on again?
She used the term Aeon for life essence. And Tavesh is like, yeah, I don't know that term. That's an antiquated term. You shouldn't use that. And that seems a little sus.
Okay, I get an insight. I partially was paying attention, partially not.
No, I
myself
totally get that. I totally get that. Yeah. For those, there's that term is also in the other game that's run in this same setting that Carly's a part of. Fuck you. She rolled a 19. Yeah, that's he literally said I don't know what that is, and then that's an antiquated term. Like, that's contradictory. He obviously knows what it is, and he just doesn't want Nim throwing that term around for some reason. This is suspicious. You can call him out on it if you want. From what you can tell, I will send Nim 11. I like it.
Not enough.
I will say, Evelina, judging by how he's reacted to you guys and has been relatively honest, you might be able to call him out on it. You might not, right? He seems to not really be punishing two students poking their heads in places, but he'll also just be honest and say don't. So it's up to you. That's what I'm giving you with the higher insight too, is that you know he's lying, but you also know that he might be one of the better teachers to press on the subject. Because, again, his whole philosophy, for those who are not in his class, is that there is no good or bad power. It is simply how it is used. So with that philosophy in mind, he's probably more likely to talk about things that other teachers would deem bad. So who knows? He might be a good person to push on the subject. Or you might want to wait because he was suspicious. Up to you. I know, Lilith. Sorry, my cat is loafing and just staring into my soul. Yeah. But Evelina's the only one who rolled high enough to fully get the contradiction in his words. Nim, you might feel like it's a little suspicious, but it's not enough to pick apart.
Yeah, that is.
What'd you call him out? Shoot.
If you don't know, you can always just like flip a coin.
Yeah, I could do. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm
Or
gonna
just
roll a die.
trust what your character would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's helpful about rolling a coin is that you'll get a result. Rolling a coin. You'll get a result, and then you'll be like, oh, dang, I really wanted... And then you'll know that you wanted the other. So you're good.
True. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
No, I think maybe she will, because like being like Quizzical is like, oh, why are you trying to hide this? So I think, yeah, I think she would try and call him out.
What does she say?
That's a good question. There, so what was the term? The Aeon.
Aeon. She Nim, said asked like, does the spring augment Aeon life energy? Like, what's in it? Pretty much. And then he's like, what was that first term you said? I haven't heard it before. Don't say that. That's outdated.
Okay. So I'm trying to think of how to... Oh gosh. I guess you just kind of like tilt your head, it's like, why do you not want to talk about that Aeon life energy?
What do you mean? It is simply an outdated term.
Yeah, but you seem to know a little bit about it. Why are you trying to hide it? Try to hide it.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay.
What you trying to hide, Professor?
Roll it with a disadvantage.
Well,
because he is a professor.
Yeah, Evelina's stepping up.
I know.
She's just saying it in a quizzical terms, like, oh, why?
What are you trying to hide,
like,
huh?
yeah, disadvantage. Just like, just curious.
Teleports you into the water.
You said it was what again?
Persuasion.
Well,
it was really good. Sorry about that.
Well, either way, it would have been a 4 either way.
Yeah, sorry, I have a cat. Being very invasive. But I'm wearing a black shirt, so you can like only see her neck and like occasionally her eyes. But yeah, he just looks at you. I highly encourage you not to press the issue. It is a term that is outdated. It is also a term that most, unless they highly specialize in this kind of magic, will not know. As far as I'm aware, he looks at you all. You rolled a low persuasion, but he looks you all over and then just lets out a huff. As far as I'm aware, it is another term for the soul element of the 4 aspects of life. However, it's not used anymore because it tends to have a negative connotation. Mainly used in archaic magic that is not safe for the average spellcaster.
Not safe or not ethical?
He tilts his head. I would say both. For if you mess up, you get, well, you get things like demagoths.
I'm just looking at the floor.
What
Yeah,
are
not here
demagoths?
anymore.
Well, you'll go over this in your class, but I suppose it hasn't gone that far yet. Demagoths are a type of fiend, but they are unrelated to devils or demons. They are a fiend unique to the material plane. We don't entirely know how they come about, but we know that there are a limited number of them and that they do not seem to be able to reproduce normally. A theory is that they reproduce through, or should I say, come into being from, miscast magics, specifically very potent magics of the old era, before the Great Calamity. There's no documentation of them before that, but after that, these tear lickers, these misery consumers, they are rampant in texts after the Great Catastrophe. As far as we are aware, there are 5 in all existence. 3 of which are bound within Detention Bog. The other 2 are still at large.
When you say bound to the detention bog, like they can't get out?
They
or that's
cannot
just where
get-
they choose to be?
Oh no, they cannot get out. They do not choose to be there by choice. I mean, that is what choosing implies. But yes, they are not there by choice.
Do they work together, or are they separate individuals?
To understand the politic of the Demagoths is difficult. As far as we are aware, each pursues power on their own accord, but they are not beyond helping one another. They do not have a strict hierarchy like a devil might, nor are they pure chaotic like a demon. In general, the biggest and strongest and most powerful of them are seen as in charge. Those are the ones we have bound, the Titans. These 2 who are out and about are deemed younger. We think they were created after the Great Calamity, where the first 3 were created during. The same way that the Dampier race was created during the Great Calamity. The calamity that Strixhaven was founded to avoid in the future, so that no calamity like that ever happens again. Those of you who are my students know that I view no magic as truly evil, simply you have to know how to use it ethically. These spells in question are just the same, not evil. But if used incorrectly, if used by someone who does not have the magical know-how to use them, they can create things like Demagoths, which are most certainly evil. He looks at Nim very strongly there. What happened to you, Nim, is unheard of. We've never seen a mortal take on aspects of a Demagoth due to a magical bargain made with them. I will be honest with you, we are curious if this is how they reproduce.
Curious to know that as well.
That is also, however, why we are trying to encourage you to pursue ethical magic. You are ultimately a victim in your situation. You are not going to be punished for something that is out of your control. You may have committed heinous acts, but you were manipulated into doing them. Demogoths seek to increase the misery and suffering of the world. They will give you immense power so long as the world becomes a sadder, more painful place. Many think they can outsmart a Demogoth, and some have. But most do not. So yes, could something such as a Demogoth be leading to the corruption of the spring? Yes. And that is exactly why you should not be intervening. Do I imagine it is a Demogoth? No. Do I think it could just be essence of a Demogoth or some other bound creature seeping its way through the barrier as the creature wills itself out of the detention bog but is unable to do so? I honestly think that is most likely. It is most likely something that can only hurt you through a manifestation such as this. But that does not mean that it is up to students to investigate that and discover if that is the case. It is far smarter to let the professionals handle it. Keep in mind that you may find yourselves quickly out of your league. There are magics in Strixhaven as a whole that not even we understand. After all, it was founded by the 5 sacred dragons. And only they know the full extent of the magic here. And of course the Oracle. But she travels Ilandara for her own purposes.
Well, thank you for your time, Professor.
I appreciate that you all are inquisitive, but I hope you decide to temper that with caution. Now I have to go back to studying the balm. Not like I have other things I'd prefer to be doing, but
Got any fun plans?
he just
Anything personal this weekend?
he gives you the most flat look. Get out. You can roll a persuasion if you want.
Yeah, I will. Come on, you gotta do something besides all work.
Yeah, roll a fucking persuasion.
There's plenty of
This
pretty
one also has
professors in
fucking
town.
disadvantage. Are you kidding me? Yeah, like if any of them have disadvantage, it's fucking this one. You're not like trying to get any information. You're just straight up
No, it's
flirting
so
with your
unuseful.
professor.
Kind of. Hang on.
I think she says, so, any plans?
Oh, fuck. I think that's a natural 20, but let me roll the second.
So you have a 17.
Oh no, it's a fucking 3. God damn these rolls.
17 and
Six.
a
It's a
6.
6.
Yeah, he just looks at you and just says, "Get out."
Says nothing and just leaves.
Yeah, it's like, okay, goodbye.
Yep. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Under
So we've
his
left
breath,
now.
Yeah, you guys probably left pretty quick.
Nim
He
will
didn't
whisper,
ask for the bomb that I was
No, he
holding.
did.
yes.
He did. He asked for it.
Ah,
Dang it. Okay.
damn. That's what I
Nim
was
will
also
whisper like a
curious about.
quiet thank you to Vash.
So I was like, if we got kicked out, that's
No, he'd like extend his hand and be like, "Get out," and like, you know, like, come on, and then, yeah, Nim would whisper a
Sorry.
quiet thank you.
Yeah.
And he gives you a slight nod and then just says, as I'm assuming you're kind of lingering back as
Yeah.
everyone leaves, he just says, I understand you have personal matters and it might not be your favorite to share, but again, everyone is only as strong as their support network. I figure if you have friends by your side, you're less likely to be tempted by anything that Demogroth is, I'm sure, still pushing at you.
He'll
So,
just nod.
understand that even if it feels like your life is not your own, it is. There is always choice, always action. Even if it is not the optimal one, you always have a choice.
Thank
He
you.
gives you a slight smile as he kind of turns back, and he's working. And as you're leaving, you hear, after all, I got out of my deal with the Demogoth. And then he snaps his fingers, and the door closes.
Wow.
Oh my
What a
god.
tease. What a tease this professor is.
Wow.
Yay!
Holy shit.
And I'm gonna be honest, I really like that as a nice button for this session. Especially because we are missing 2 players. I don't want to go much more than this. But how about this? How about I set up our next... No, fuck it. I want us to talk to Eudora. I need to
Yeah.
get through this.
Can we take a quick break and then we
Yes,
do
let's take a
more?
quick...
Yes.
let's take a... Is 10-minute break okay with people?
Yeah.
I'm still hoping to get done before 11, obviously, but probably closer to 10:30 if we can. But yeah, I will let everyone take a break, and I will remember to mute this time.
Woohoo.
Hey, we are back. Thank you for hanging and chilling with us while we were on our break. But now we're back and we're ready to rumble and talk to professors. Where we left off, we talked to Tavash. He did a little... I snuck out of a deal with a demagoth as well. Door closed. And then Nim is like, the fuck? And then everyone else is like, let's go find the groundskeeper. And yeah. So off on the central campus, you guys go to the stadium, where apparently the groundskeeper is supposed to be tending to the grounds there. Yeah, okay. I was hoping that'd come across like cooler, but it really, like, how else? Yeah, of course, it's grounds. Okay.
He's keeping the grounds.
Yeah, so as you are going into the stadium, you see a few people that you know work there, working with some of the more active clubs, like the Silk Ball League, as well as Mage Tower. Prepping the arenas, doing all that stuff. You see one friend who...
Rosie.
Yeah. You see Rosie, who, if you recall, is a referee for the games. She also works here. You see someone else as well. Oh no,
Hello.
what? Do you have a suspicion?
No.
Who
No,
is
Finally.
Greta, you hear echoing across the I can't do the laugh because it's past 10 o'clock.
You have to do one.
So you just hear echoing across the field, just
That's the laugh.
I'm like trying to do it quiet for the sake of my neighbors.
It's good. It's honestly better that way.
Yeah, it's better on my
It was off in
throat.
the distance.
And you hear that before you even get there, guys. Let's be real.
Mhm.
It's like echoing up from the amphitheater, like just...
Chills
kind of
run down
animal is
K.
that?
Earthen.
The
Oh, time to leave.
moment as they're like approaching, Karathana starts to hear the laugh. You just see her taking like soothing, like meditative breaths. Like you see her mentally and
almost-
emotionally preparing.
It's almost like Emerson chose to have the most overwhelming character mess with the character who has to stay in control, guys.
That is no creature, Nim. That's a beast.
Oh
what
my
kind?
God.
He's like,
What?
I've
Yeah?
never heard that before.
I'm going to
Wow.
give you inspiration. I'm sorry. I
What?
can't not give you
Really?
inspiration for that.
That's a stupid comment? Okay. Thanks. I'll use it for something really important.
I know. On a side note, if you guys still have inspiration, like, just hold on to it until we get to a fucking combat. Like, I think at this point everyone has it. Or almost everyone has it.
Just wait, Nim. I think you'll be quite impressed with this.
As you get over the hill, sure enough, you see this dwarf woman carrying a lot of wood over to where they're building some additional, looks like almost like a referee stand or something for one of the games. And it's very impressive. Like, that is a lot of weight that she's carrying. And sure enough, she's in this like skin tight, like workout clothes that she wasn't in before, but she is now. Someone says something funny and you hear the laugh bellow from her. Yeah, you also catch a few people on the field wincing. Mainly the first years. Everyone else seems very like this is just what it is. As you guys come on down, you're trying to find the groundskeeper. Roll a perception check for me.
Roll to see if you can find the giant tree person.
Okay, rude, but yes.
I'm not rolling shit. I'm just having a good time.
And that is a 18 perception. Okay, so Deja, No, you rolled too well for me to do that. I can't
Why
do
are
that.
you mad?
No, because you rolled too well.
wouldn't
I was gonna
know.
do
It's
something
fine.
mean.
Oh,
I was gonna say like you find them, but your eyes linger on Greta long enough that she sees you looking at her. But you rolled high enough, so that's not happening.
Also, she was taking meditative breaths.
I
She was
know.
prepared.
Okay, so you do see some like trees up on the far side of the field. They kind of are more decorative just behind the stands, and then one of them moves, and you're like, oh, that's not a tree, that's planting the trees. And sure enough, it kind of stands up, and you're like, oh, it's big. And then you see not Rosie, you see Greta just wave them down. And you can't quite make out what they say just because she's yelling in an opposite direction from you. But the treant, which is far more slight than the treant Willow Dusk that Nim saw, this one is very, I'd say it is maybe 6.5, 7 feet tall if you include the bushes on top of its head. But it stands upright.
Oh,
And it also is wearing a semblance of clothing, and has sort of almost like tree beard. Copyright not intended. Don't go after me, Tolkien Estate. But it has a little beard of tree, and it sort of jaunts on down and stands in front of her, making her look like maybe to its waist, maybe mid-thigh. Like it is a very funny conversation duo. As you approach, you hear Greta let out another one of her boisterous laughs, and you hear creaking and groaning from the tree that you're pretty sure is also laughter. And then you see the tree go over to a section of the field that looks like turf is being laid out, like actual turf, and it pulls out essentially a roll of turf. You know how like grass can be rolled up when you lay it down, and like when they install grass places, and the plant tree Eudora pulls it out of somewhere that you can't really tell, probably some bag attached to their clothing, and pulls out this roll of grass that to them almost just looks like a parchment paper, that it then like rolls out into place, and you watch as like its vines and tree almost stitches it into the ground, essentially sewing it to the ground proper. And sure enough, as you're looking, the sort of sheet of grass adheres, and it very quickly doesn't look like that new lain grass look. It looks as if it's been there indefinitely. I like how I took a long time to describe grass, guys. Sorry about that.
It's important.
It's very important, guys. He's really good at laying sod. So yeah, they're both there. Oh my god. Eudora would make bank as a setup for red carpet events. That is true. So
Oh, good. The two people we need to talk to.
uh,
Hello, Syntax is just gonna walk up and start saying hi.
both turn to look at you, Eudora turning their head a lot slower. And Greta gives you a big toothy grin. Oh, if it isn't the little mannequin boy. It's a pleasure to see you again. She
Hi.
reaches out a hand for like one of those grasps, like the forearm shake.
Yeah. Syntax doesn't get it, but it's just like, we're doing a thing.
Yeah, she does a very vigorous forearm shake to the point of like almost pulling off your arm.
Ow, that hurts a lot. Does anyone ever tell you that?
It's like, oh, don't worry, you get used to it.
God.
Oh my god.
And then-
I'm already dying.
I should bring her back up. And then she puts her hands on her hips and looks at the rest of you, and then her eyes fall on Nim, and they just go large, and she leans back and lets out a whistle of being impressed. She's like, you're a tall one, aren't you? So tall.
Yes.
And the horns and the eyes. Oh, never seen something like you. Well, welcome to the school. Here's to hoping you decide to go lower hold.
Oh, I'm
So-
most definitely going to be Witherbloom, but thank you for welcoming me.
Figured you have a bit of a creep factor to you. And then she
Yeah, I get that a lot.
She's like, I'm sure you do, but and then she hold on. Where's the die? Very important roll I have to make, guys.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Just fuck with K Earthana. You don't need a roll for that.
Yeah, she definitely slaps your ass as she's walking by, and then
Oh!
and then Nims.
Nim, yeah.
Oh,
And-
I thought she slapped Kairtana's
I like
No, no,
how
no.
Just like,
I like how
what the fuck
Deja's
is
like, what the
happening?
fuck? But then it's Nim, and you're like, okay, no, but that's all of us.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, it's still a form of sexual harassment, like, absolutely.
is.
But
Yeah.
also, like, it's understand. I'm kidding. Sexual harassment is not good in any
No,
any
it's just
context.
Greta.
In any context whatsoever, consent is key. Xanther would tell you.
Yeah, I was gonna say this
Um,
has been brought to you by Xanther.
Yeah.
Is Xanther out here, by the way?
No,
Friendly
Xanther's
neighborhood
not.
himbo.
Only so many NPCs we can take at once.
Literally. I'm like, I'm
Yeah, I
already
get it.
like, they're having a conversation, but God knows I'm not going to say the conversation between them. And then she gives everyone else like a greeting and just skips over Kay. And then she looks over, looks at you all, and then looks at Eudora, and then looks kind of at herself, and is like, "Wait, so who are you here to see? You don't strike me as a athletic field bunch."
Now, we came to ask Eudora some questions about dead people and moving trees.
That's right up your alley, isn't it, Eudora? And then Eudora just gives a and Greta chuckles, and she's like, "Well, I best be off, so see you a lot later."
Jeez.
And then she literally bounds away. Again, the steps are very impressive considering she has
Yeah.
dwarf legs, like not, or dwarvish legs. She is short. Eudora.
I bet she could carry like 3 people.
Eudora looks over at you all, and despite them kind of standing in a very unintimidating posture, it is incredibly intimidating. And they
They're
just
scary.
stare down at you, saying nothing.
Hi.
Oh, hello there.
No way.
We had some questions about something that I think happened at the beginning of the school year, maybe before students came in.
Oh, I see. Well,
That
I'm
secret
probably the one to talk to about that.
Yeah,
'Cause,
we just wanted to know what happened, seeing as how we got attacked by stuff like that twice already.
Why don't you walk with me? Eudora starts walking off with a little bit of like a bump in their step. Whatever intimidation was there, as soon as Eudora started talking, it's just gone. Yeah, it's just like all of it's gone. You can tell that they've definitely, like, compared to Willow Dusk, Nim anyways, who like is very much so talking with the voice that you can tell is her natural voice. You have a feeling Eudora like has tried to get a like an animal's voice, like really trained to like sound like a mammal. And
Oh my
so-
god!
and so it's more of like an excited over like attempt at trying to be normal.
To be person.
Yeah, so it's, you know,
Oh,
I am so
human.
normal, so excited to
Love
be
them.
here with ya. Like they know they're intimidating, so they're trying not to be. You also now realize like that's probably why they're wearing clothes, probably why like, you know, they are trying to laugh when Greta laughs, even though like you can tell they haven't quite mastered laughter yet, because it's like groaning wood.
Protect-
But yeah, But they walk with you, and again, you can tell by the walking, like it's not the like steady, like planted gait of other tree ants you've seen, but like this like bouncy, like over exaggeration of what a human's walking state is.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it ultimately makes it scarier. But yeah, and now you realize like even their branches are kind of organized in a way that's hair-like, right? Like they very much so obviously like the mammals, or the animals, I should say.
The flesh bags.
Yeah, the meat bags. They
Mhm.
like the meat bags. And yeah, so Eudora gets up to like the tree line where you can see that they're like in the process of planting a tree, and sure enough, there's like a big tree in a pot right there. And you just watch as like they effortlessly grab the tree from like one trunk, lift it up, and you're like, holy shit. And they like pull off the pot and then just like put it in the ground like it's no big deal. Their limbs like growing longer, very like Groot grabbing stuff kind of energy. And so again, it's highly intimidating, but the whole time they're doing this, they're just like looking at you and chatting it up, or trying to. So they're planting, and they're just, so what can I do for you today? If the sun feels great on your skin today, right? It's such a great day.
It is a very good day. Does anyone else want to take this? Otherwise, I can. No? All right. We. I've talked a lot, so I wanted to give you a chance if you wanted to. So we heard that there was something with black bomb that you
Oh,
might have.
the Eldritch Bomb stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to be careful of that. Ooh, ooh-wee. Oh,
What happened? Are
oh,
you all
it's so-
right?
Oh no, I'm totally fine. It's just a good thing that there weren't any students around, you know, because like, so you see these trees here, and or they lift up the tree again, just like out of the hole.
Yep, that's a tree you're
Yeah,
holding.
so you see down here in the roots right there. Yeah, so look carefully. Can you see it? Can you see it? And they're like very excited, like looking at the tree.
It's just like shoving the roots of trees
Yeah.
near us.
And
Yeah, that's
can you see it? Roll a nature check for me in this case.
Everyone?
Everyone who is looking,
looking at this shit.
who is
Tree.
you know. That is a 24 from Evelina. Fucking Evelina is on fire today, guys.
Ooh.
18, nice. And Syntax is a 24. God.
Nim's not paying attention.
And
clearly.
Deja, you got a 15, and Nim is a 9. So everyone but Nim, who is the one person who would probably be the most excited about this.
Whoa.
Everyone but Nim sees like, that might be a rib cage in those roots.
Yeah.
They're also like, there's definitely a root growing through the eye socket of a skull in there somewhere. Like, as you look in, this tree definitely sprouted out of a corpse.
Oh yes, they told us about this. Instead of doing cemeteries, you grow trees out of dead people.
Oh yeah, so you do know. That's great.
Mhm.
So then they put the tree back into the ground. Just as Nim like catches a femur, it goes back into the ground. Like Nim just catches
Is
it
that what
right
we were
when
looking at? Dead people? There were dead people down there?
and Eudora just
That'll be
nods.
you one day,
So
Nim.
you know, some
Yeah,
people
probably. I
want to be
hope.
buried with on campus because it's good memories, or they were professors or whatnot. So a lot of the trees you see on campus are that. Most of the time, it's planted before the students get there. And so I was doing my yearly grave planting. People call me the grave gardener because, but I think
That's
I'm pretty
cute.
cheery, not very grave. And they just stare at you like mouth open, like the badonch, like just waiting for a response. And it's really awkward because it's kind of they look like just a tree. Like they're not moving at all. They could be still forever, right? And they're just waiting.
Syntax just puts like a hand on tree just to like check that they're a tree.
And
or
and it
I
takes
don't
like
know.
just a second to respond. Like you put your hand on them, and then like a second later they move again. And they're like, so sorry, that's one of my little jokes. But yeah, so we use Eldritch Bomb sometimes if they aren't looking too hot, you know, because you don't want a tree to not do well when it's growing out of the remains of someone. Typically they do well because we use magic based off the remains of them, but sometimes it's not the best. So we sometimes use some Eldritch Bomb to, you know, make sure they're nice and strong and sturdy. We put it on the trunk and it's all good to go. So I was doing that, and then it turns out one of the trees was like, "Oh no, you don't," and it started, you know, womping, and it just wasn't very friendly for a while there. I gave it some time to cool off, because you know it might have uprooted itself, but I nothing I couldn't fix. So oh, I bumped into you there. Sorry. I don't know.
It's all right. I don't know.
I bumped into it and it surprised me,
Yeah,
and then
I
I
know.
responded in character. I don't.
No,
Okay.
it's fine.
I like to imagine Eudora says that to the tree, like they
Oh my
bump into the
God.
tree and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry there. Sorry about that, buddy." God damn it, I did say womping, didn't I?
did say womping.
I just like entire Harry Potter fandom womping.
So
But-
how many trees did this? You just planted them and you'd
Oh,
walk
I mean,
around and then
I'd-
they'd start waving
Well,
around?
I mean, I'd say it was probably, I put the balm on them probably about a day or so before they started going crazy. And I didn't think much about it, but then it ended up being only the trees I put the balm on. And then apparently there was some other stuff, some furniture, and I hear tale from some students that there were
Yeah,
some
the frog.
frogs.
Yeah, we were there for the furniture and the frogs.
Oh,
Evie,
both
right
of
over
them.
here,
Oh, 2
pretty
out of
much
3.
almost died from the first one.
Well, 2 out of 3. That's like a 75%.
That is around 75%.
Yeah, it's
almost,
definitely
kind of,
it's,
a little
it's,
bit.
It's a little off. They smile and they're like, "Oh, did I get the math wrong? I'm not the best at the
No.
math part. I was gonna be a Quandrix. No, I wasn't gonna be a Quandrix professor. I was never that good. But I went to Quandrix back in my day, so there's
Ooh.
that. I mean, I'm a Quandrix professor, but I mainly teach like hands-on laboratory, like growing stuff. Sometimes I work with the horticulture club, but you know, not always, because that's mainly for the students. But yeah, I'm not. Why am I talking about myself here? I don't mean to. Sorry about that. Get carried away sometimes.
I do have a question.
Oh
for you.
yeah, go my Oh, you're green. Is that a nice chlorophyll there, or is that something else?
Probably.
Oh
something
no, I'm
else.
so sorry. Animals. Silly me. He looks at you just
Anyway.
like completely doesn't move
What?
anymore, just like half smile staring at you, waiting for you to talk.
The Eldritch Balm. Was it clear when you put it on, or did it look like this? And he'll pull out a vial of the Eldritch Balm, the black Eldritch Balm that he collected from the frog.
Oh, that's some gross stuff right there. No, it's supposed to be clear. But I did notice it did seem a little goopy and a little black afterward. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe like, oh no, it's bad. Who knows, you know?
Yeah, that certainly seems to be the case.
I will say Eldritch Balm typically does get a nice like golden brown color from yeah, it does get a little golden brown when it's like setting, so that you know like, oh yeah, it worked.
We'd be curious to see some Eldritch. Do you have any Eldritch Bomb
Oh
on
no,
you?
they confiscated all of it, unfortunately, my friend.
That makes
Hope
sense.
you're okay with me calling you my friend. I mean it
No, we're friends at this
okay,
point.
cool, good. I thought so, but I just didn't want to assume. But
Confiscate all of it.
oh
Because
yeah, it's
going
because it
bad?
might be bad. Yeah, they have trouble testing it. Also, you know, you don't want to test it through practice. That'd be unfortunate for if it ended up being bad. They give the weird chuckle that like is physically impossible for a human to make, and then yeah.
That makes sense. I assume Tavash took it because they're the one who made it.
Oh yeah, good Tevi. He's a good one.
Tevi, you said?
Oh yeah, Tevi. Tevi and I go way back.
Really? Are you guys good friends?
I mean, I think so.
What does he do on the weekend?
What does Tevi do on the weekends, eh? Why don't you roll a
Oh my God,
persuasion
so
check
stupid.
with advantage?
Oh my god.
You'll have advantage because Eudora just likes
Why do
getting
I
to
play
talk.
such a useless character? This isn't useful or anything.
Please roll
We
it.
didn't know.
Also
What is
know
a
that, like, if you
persuasion?
ever call
Okay.
him Tevi, you will be kicked out of his classroom.
I know. I'm writing this note down right now.
Heavy.
Like,
Oh.
I promise you. I promise you.
My God.
Oh, it's already a 20, Emerson.
It's a 20?
Hell
I haven't even rolled the second one yet.
You're fucking fine. But roll and see if you crit. 'Cause if you crit, he'll overshare. They'll overshare, and it's going to be bad.
I think I rolled a 20 on both. A 19 and a 20.
Are you shitting
Jesus.
me? Oh my god. Oh, he's what does he do on the weekends? Well, he's kind of a little hermit, that one. He just likes to hide out and do his little studies. Every once in a while we can get him to join our little game night, but most of the time we can't.
That's sad. He's all lonely.
Yeah, he just he's really focused on his magical know-how,
Well, I wanted to
think it
give him a
also-
gift at some point. Can you
Oh,
tell me where he
that's-
lives?
That's sweet. I don't. I mean, he's got his office hours, doesn't he? I think they want me to make sure that I don't give away teacher residences again.
That makes sense.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be
Again.
you
Well,
just
the thing is, I want to
office
make sure it's a
hours.
surprise, but that's fine, I guess. I guess it doesn't have to be a surprise.
I mean, you're really twisting my trunk here, but
Oh my God.
no, I can't do it. Tevi'd be
That's
so
fine.
mad at me.
No, it's all right.
I don't think he'd
Oh.
show up to game night for like a good 3 months. It'd be bad.
No, we don't want that.
No.
Well,
I'm
thanks for
getting better
sharing.
at poker though,
Mhm.
so that's
Ooh,
good.
do you
So
play
you
with
play game
Mavinda?
night with
That's game night.
Mavinda.
Yeah, game night.
I'm gonna round up. When do you guys play? So the weekend, every
Oh.
weekend?
When do we play? We always make sure to get in at least one day a week. Mavinda says I'm getting much better. I'm only losing like
I was
I'm
gonna
only
say how much
losing
money does
double?
Mavinda?
like I'm only losing double now. Usually I'm
My God.
Oh.
Oh.
no,
That's a shame.
correction, not losing double because you can't usually lose double. I'm lasting a whole hour now.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, and then I run out of money.
Well, if you win big next time. I don't have any money. Never mind. Sorry, I gave all my money to E-Machine, so I don't have any
Oh,
money.
you're
to give
fine.
you.
I don't like money typically, anyways. So I mean,
Nah, me neither.
it's just a silly little animal thing. Oh, I'm sorry if that was derogatory. I'm trying not to be.
Nah, we're all silly little animals.
Okay, cool. I didn't mean it in a bad way. I just not used to you. You're so fast and zippy, you know?
Oh, I can
Everything's like,
slow down
oh,
if you want.
I'm 10 years old and I'm a little thing running, zooming around. Whereas like a tree, we're like, oh, 10 years, nothing's changed. That it only like half makes sense what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like it, like it's definitely one of those things where it's like they're trying to tell a funny anecdote, and you're just like, okay, cool.
Alright.
Hey,
Here,
thanks
then
for
that kind of,
following
like,
us,
laughs.
JMO005. Karithna laughs.
She kind of just like a ha ha.
Did anyone have any more questions for Eudora?
Oh yeah, do you? It was a pleasure to talk. I realized this whole time we've been chatting up a storm, and I don't have your guys' names. My name's Eudora. They call me the Grave Gardener, cause gestures at the tree again, cause you know why. But who might you lot be? I take it you're the Nim that I've been told to keep an eye on.
Then what's wrong with you?
Oh, they're on like probation.
Did you not hear what Tavash said?
Yeah, I did, but I feel bad that everyone knows about you.
Oh
and
no,
just
we
knows
got
to
like a
watch
little
out for
like
you.
mailer about it, kind of. All the faculty like, oh, there's a student on probation, so like just keep an eye on him, make sure they don't mess things up, you know.
What
no, they do
happens
it
if
all
they
the
don't
time.
pass their probation?
Oh no, it's not like that. It's just like we know
Oh.
that they had a rough time before. I mean, it's all that's confidential for like the ones who really need to know. We just know that like keep an eye
Well,
on them,
not
make sure they
anymore.
succeed.
No, I think everyone knows at this point.
Oh, do you know?
Yeah,
I've learned they
definitely.
sometimes don't
At
tell
least
me a few
everybody
things.
here.
I've heard that they don't tell me a few things because again,
The incident with the
yeah,
address.
the address
Yeah.
thing was a big problem. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll
Avinda had
look
to
for
move
you.
3 times.
3.
3
Yeah.
times?
Oh, poor Mavinda. Well, you
I
can
only
remind
gave
her
the
of that
address
next
one time.
Mm,
The other 2 was entirely on them.
mm. Well, Mavinda takes money from you, so
I mean, she wins it, so I don't know if it's really taking, but I get
she's
what
kind
you're
of
saying.
taking advantage.
No, of course she's not. There's like this, you see this little like processing in their head of like, oh god, they never thought of that. And so you're like, wait.
I don't know. Mavinda herself said she has a problem, so maybe
Oh
she's
yeah,
working on
no,
it.
she definitely,
Has she ever like thrown the table when she loses?
Oh no,
or
no,
something?
because she doesn't lose.
Oh, never.
Ever?
No, I mean she
That's
does.
impressive.
She does lose, but like if we're playing a skill-based one, oh my goodness. Oh, it's bad. Also, apparently I'm really bad at poker. The poker face thing.
Hmm. That just means that you're a very truthful person. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. What's your name?
Oh, that's right. We said we were doing that. My name's Syntax. You can call me that or Sin.
Oh, cool. It's like a language.
It is a language thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it. I don't know what the word means though.
I love her.
It's a word about words. We're not going to get
it's
into
wordy. I like it. I think. Who are you
Yeah.
guys? You're the Nim one.
it. Yeah, the problem.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
we've
it wasn't
gone
said in
over
like a
that.
problem way. It was said in a like, if you see them starting to be a problem, like help direct them to not be a problem because we want them to succeed kind of way. Not
That's
a,
Evelina.
oh, hi there, Evelina. You're so small. I feel like I've had birds perch on me that are bigger than you. You know, I used to have this little family of rooks that lived on my in my hair. I call it my hair. Technically, it's my branches.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Thank you. They died.
Oh,
They turn with like a big smile and just like look at Kareth, and I like that statement isn't weird at all. Yeah. Like that's just the usual way you talk about like pets and stuff. Like, yeah, and then they died.
My
You get it, they
name's
have a slight
Kaerthana.
morbid fascination with death. Like you get this feeling that's just a little bit more than yeah. Okay, Kaerthana. That's a pretty name. Is it Elvish?
I don't know.
Oh, cool. I only really good with Common and Sylvan. That's a good one. But it sounds Elvish to me. You should get that checked out.
I'll look into it.
Good to know. And then they look over at Ryza.
Hi, I'm Ryza. You can call me Rai.
Oh, hi there, Rye. Yeah, that's cool. I was trying to come up with a pun based off of your name there, but I'm a little bit bad with puns. I try to be good with them. I'm working on it.
It's okay. It's okay. My name's not meant for puns, but I appreciate it.
Maybe one day I'll rise to the occasion. No?
Okay. Ryza goes, oh, you got me.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah.
someone said that before.
Oh, did they? I always.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
I don't know if I
Ruxa,
was
wasn't it?
there for that conversation.
It was Ruxa, wasn't it? The professor. The
Yeah, I
bear?
wasn't there for that, so we're just gonna ignore this
No,
whole what I
it's
just
fine.
said.
Ruxa's the one trying to get me into puns.
The bear. I don't know how
The
I know
bear,
about
yeah.
we've talked.
Oh, everyone knows about the
We
bear.
talked about class.
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah,
knows about the
exactly.
bear.
All right. I think
Well,
we're gonna
I'm
go.
gonna. No worries. I gotta plant some more tree corpses, so I'll
Yeah,
see you later.
Yeah, I don't like the
Thank
sun.
you.
I'm glad you do.
Bye.
Oh, you don't? Oh, photosynthesis. Man, you gotta try it. So, oh, apologies. That was plantist of
Yeah.
me.
No, we're just dumb little animals. Isn't that what we said?
No, you're not dumb.
Silly little animals.
I'd
Silly
like to
little
point out you're
animals.
the only ones who
Silly.
actually have a brain. Isn't that fascinating? I don't. Got some
You don't know what I
phloem
have.
and xylem, but I don't got a brain.
You don't know.
I mean, it is true. I don't know. Why is she suddenly Scottish? That's
It's
true. I
true.
don't know. I don't know if you have a
I think
brain.
Well, I think we've all fucked this scene up enough.
See you later.
Bye.
Make good choices, or
Bye.
as they say, have the courage not to.
It's nice to meet
Okay.
you.
No one says that. Don't follow that. I'm told it's bad advice to students.
Too late. Bye.
Eudora just waves a little too long.
Nim.
And then you
What?
just see them stand still for like a minute before they start moving again, and you're like, what? Did they just glitch? Like, and yeah.
Nim, don't think I didn't see what Greta and you had earlier.
No, she slapped my ass really hard. That was
Yeah,
Yeah, there's probably like a handprint, just being honest.
I did not invite that.
go
And I
beat her
don't
up.
like her. No, why would I do that?
I don't know, because she's gonna slap your ass until she's done with classes, probably.
She does it again, she'll regret it. How about that?
Ooh, okay, next time then.
Syntax is gonna call you on that. Be careful. Like, she'll do it, and then Syntax will be like, didn't you say you were gonna make her pay? And then it's just gonna be all downhill from there.
Emerson,
Just-
let's have the scene when it happens.
It's gonna be so bad. Oh no.
Syntax is
Okay.
gonna walk over right now to Greta.
Oh my god.
Oh no, are you?
Yeah.
Fuck.
We were
Okay.
gonna be done, but no.
We thought.
Hey, Greta. You don't have to. We can be done if you want. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I wanted to do an overdramatic sigh, honestly. Oh, hey there, Syntax. It's a pleasure to meet you again. Or see you again, I should say. I already know ya.
Yeah. I was just wanting to say, you seem like you're very strong, and you seem great out here.
Oh, yeah, you know it. Damn it. I was doing the Adora voice for a second. Oh, yeah, you know it.
Are you good at beating people up?
I mean, I've
Like if
gotten in
it-
my fair share of fights before, but I don't pride myself on beating people up, but I do pride myself on
Well,
being able to end a fight if I get in one,
That's
if you
good.
catch my drift.
How many people do you think you could fight at once?
She looks at you, but like she's not processing if this is like malicious at all. I feel like that's a tough question. It depends. Are we armed? Are they armed? Do they get their like spellcast and stuff? Or is this just like a mano a mano? Is it me against all of them at once? What's the full
I think it's like, okay, it's an anything goes situation, but no one's like doing anything besides sending a message. There's no like killing or maiming or things.
Okay, so in that case, it would be all at the same time. I
feel like you could take 3, which is
I was
impressive.
gonna say I could take probably at least 6.
6! Wow.
Well, of course. I mean, it depends. Are we talking like Strixhaven students where they have some
Yeah,
training?
like little squishy people just like hanging
or
around.
little squishy people. Then I'd say 11.
How many of Nims do you think you could take?
Oh,
That's
Nim,
gonna go point.
Nim's a tall one. I don't
Yeah.
know. There's probably some muscle underneath those robes. I just can't tell for sure. I'd have to get a better look.
They got a lot of eyes too. Imagine how many multiple Nims would
Oh,
have
and the
in terms of
horns, you know?
eyes.
I don't know. I don't plan on getting hit by any horns, but, you know, I don't know. New experiences all around. Deja? I feel like that's Deja, not Kay, doing that.
Scandalized.
Yeah,
Absolutely
Syntax just like
scandalized.
points back at Nim at one point, like directly during that.
Yeah, it's very clear that Greta is, like, into Nim. Like, Greta's not hiding this.
Oh my god.
Like, all of these, the slight innuendos I'm doing
Yeah,
are
yeah.
100% intentional from Greta.
Hey, Greta. So
Like, she's
we're all
all
probably gonna get. Do you have one of those sending stones?
Oh, the ones that Fane the Broker's selling? No.
Yeah. Well, if you get one, if you ever want a favor, I could probably get you Nim's number.
I mean, I don't know
Then
what
it's
you
just
mean
in the
by
background,
number,
like-
because if Nim has one, I can just think it to Nim, but
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's called a number.
I'm pretty sure it's not, but
Well,
I
okay, I
it's the
guess
thought
you
that
don't.
counts.
Okay.
I
Syntax,
mean,
stop speaking for me.
I'm not opposed to that, but she leans.
I gotta go. I
She
can't speak
leans
to
in.
you anymore.
She leans in. I
Oh.
like the thrill of the chase, so I think I want to see it on my own.
All right. I think you've got your stuff handled.
Wow.
Bye.
We gotta have at least one toxically
man.
masculine character, guys.
Yeah. Syntax
Just-
will come back to the group. I think I got everything I needed to know.
I'm sorry, guys. That's the only
Jerry's
thing.
here now.
That's the only thing Jerry has said. Just kill her. Get her.
How long is Jerry?
Oh,
Syntax is gonna come
Oh,
back to the group.
hold on.
Yeah.
Greta will say as Syntax is leaving as well. How about we don't tell Xanther about this, no?
Oh, do you have a thing for Xanther?
No, he just gave me a hard time for flirting.
Oh. Yeah, I won't. What about Xanther?
No, he's always like, oh no, make sure you don't. Got to be blatant with the flirting. Got to make sure they're okay with you flirting. That defeats the purpose of flirting. Flirting is you telling someone you like them. If you have to say, hey, is it okay if I flirt with you first?
Yeah, he gave me a lecture earlier for this. Yeah, I think I understand what you mean.
I mean, obviously consent is key, but I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about, like, telling someone they're pretty. Like, that's not a problem. Nim's got a fine ass on him. Of course I'm gonna appreciate it.
Yeah, I think he probably doesn't like you just slapping it, though, because you have really rough hands. Like, my arm is still hurting.
She, like, squints at you, squints at Nim. Let's see if she gets the hint. Let's,
I mean,
I can't believe this is what.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Greta will be like, oh, I suppose that was probably a bit too forward.
Yeah.
She calls across the field to Nim. Hey, pretty boy! I'm sorry for slapping your ass. It was just too tempting. I'll make sure to ask next time. That good for you?
There won't be a next time, but thanks for apologizing.
We'll see about that, pretty boy.
No.
I don't think you understand what consent is.
No, I know I won't slap the ass unless he says to do it. But I'll make sure that I get another chance, because, oh, that is a succulent piece of cake.
I
I'm
think
done with
that's-
this episode, guys. I can't
What?
do
I'm not
this.
done!
I can't do this
Fine.
anymore, guys.
Okay, for your sake. Okay, bye. We'll work on that, I think.
I just keep
walking
on
away.
making her worse, and
This
I'm
is the
not
first-
trying
so
to make
Syntax
her
will
worse.
walk back over. Yeah.
It just keeps on happening. It just
For the
keeps, she
first
keeps
time in
getting
the
Mortal
whole
worse.
enemy.
campaign. The first time in
actual
the whole
antagonist.
campaign,
He's the worst.
Syntax is gonna come over with a look of actual regret and be like, Nim, I'm sorry. And then he'll just walk back with the group.
He'll just like sigh and be like, "It's fine, I guess."
On my hit list. Yeah, well, I didn't. Again, It just kind of happened. I didn't mean to make her that
I
bad,
will.
but
No, you're not doing anything wrong. They
She
all
definitely
have
is a piece of
chance
shit.
for redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I mean, she understood
was
the
like-
idea of consent. Like, she's open to the idea. She just
I'm just saying we're
is
working.
learning.
We'll
She's
work on
learning.
it.
I love how Carly's just like not in the frame.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just a little bit. What a way to end this session. I can't
Yeah.
even read what Jerry's
Jerry's
saying.
saying
It's
he
too
ships
fast.
Greta and Death. Why would they say
Wow.
that? I hate her so much. My name. Oh, that's not him. But
No, you know
someone
what?
kill her, or I
My
will.
name-
I
It's
will
fine,
plot her
Jerry.
death.
B-Machine's not here. Ha ha ha. Jerry, what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. You missed.
We were with Killian all weekend.
Are we done? Is that the
I feel
session over?
like at the far end of the field is just Rosie grimacing. Like just
Yeah.
Rosie being like, oh god, just rubbing her head. But yeah, I suppose that is the end of this weekend and the session.
What a weird ending.
Yep. Well, this session definitely had its highs and lows, and I'm pretty sure we're ending at the lowest point. So
Yeah. It can only go up. Listen, I'm excited to see where this weird ass fucking art goes.
yeah.
Because it'll go somewhere.
Oh,
Even
like
if
my
it just
ass
train
hurts.
rips. Oh,
End scene.
man, don't say that in front of other people.
Oh, okay.
I like how Syntax had to say that. Okay. There you
I love
go.
the
That was a
really
funny ending.
dramatic music.
I know. Yeah. We need to play the dumb
Well,
song again.
Yeah, the Momo's theme. I just don't want copyright claims on the channel, so we're not. But thank you guys for joining us for this session of whatever the fuck that was. And
I loved it.
I thought the session went decently well. Dropped a lot of
A lot of
shit
lore.
that wasn't supposed to. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
You gonna learn more about the moon?
No, I was I'm seeing if I can jump you guys to the like where we're doing the dungeon next. But I don't think I can easily.
No, give me a tease. Tease me. Like Tavash teases.
Oh my god. Throughout the next following
Heavy.
I'll say through the following 2 weeks or so, you guys classes proceed as about usual. And eventually, you overhear a rumor, just from all your friends and whatnot, that apparently the challenge is coming again. It sounds very ominous. It takes a while for you guys to figure out what the hell people mean by this until Mina Lee just rolls her eyes at one point while working alongside Kay and just says, oh, the challenge. Ugh. Look, so there's this really stupid doll. Yeah, I know. That was confiscated like 3 years ago by the faculty because it's just so it's this enchanted doll that's designed to insult people, and the faculty thought it was kind of mean, which I get makes sense, but just yeah, either way, they try to every year people try to break into let's just say they try to liberate the doll. They send they get a hold on a second, I'm trying to find the actual page that tells me about it. Hold on, I lost it. I had it here and then it's not here. Campus, there it is. Okay, so it's called Sassy Sally Jane, and she's a pink-haired doll in a patchwork tartan dress, and yeah, so a few years back, a bunch of jokesters, she rolls her eyes, Used it to irritate faculty and staff members by extensively it would insult them a ton. So they confiscated it, and now it's in Captain Dapplewing's manor house. And people have been plotting for a while now to try to coerce some first years into trying to steal it. Every year,
Captain Dappled Matt? Oh wait, I'm not here.
every year they try to get some first years to break in and steal it, because I think at this point they just enjoy watching the first years get caught. But yeah, I don't know. There's a claim that whoever gets it will be like heralded as the coolest first years ever. But I mean, you already have Imogene, so it's not like you guys need it.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's I think they're doing that Friday evening though. So if you're interested,
A
you
whole
can...
group?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, there'll be a group waiting out front. Absolutely. See, they figured out this schedule for the manor, and yeah. So it'll probably be like 1 a.m. on Friday. So I guess Saturday, but you know, Friday night, it's the same difference. So yeah, if you guys want to make idiots of yourselves and get caught, go for it. I will not be there because I have a shift in the morning. So yeah, but I'm sure they'll probably get some idiot like Quintilius to do it. So that'll be fun. So if nothing else, it'll be fun to watch him get caught like 5 seconds into going to the manor. Because it is a booby-trapped manor. Like, come on. You're breaking into a teacher's manor. The faculty house. Like, they don't live there. I don't mean faculty house like that. It's like a lot of them have offices there. A lot of the adjunct.
Okay.
But like, come on. Of course, there's like traps and stuff. First years are always like, it was so scary. I mean, it's a manor. They can get over it. But I don't know. It'll be funny. Maybe it'll be Rubina trying to like prove that you guys are not as cool as her. God, I hope she gets her ass handed to her. That'd be funny. But I guess also you guys could do it and prove that you guys are cooler. Who knows? I mean, it'd be cool if you guys didn't actually succeeded, but yeah. Just saying, it's an option.
It
If you want to
sounds
be...
right up Syntax's alley, and probably Imogen and Nim. I'm sure me and Ryan, Evie would be down for the ride as it is.
She gives a little
I don't know if
smirk.
that's too late past Giuseppe's bedtime, though. We'll have to check in.
She gives a little smirk and looks at you. Okay, so to be honest, I figured you guys would be down for it. But I also figured if there's anyone who would actually be able to steal it, it would be you guys. So, like, you should fucking go for it. Prove to Rubina that you guys are the cool ones. Because, like, her whole shtick right now is that you guys are the ones that, like, kiss up to teachers and stuff. So if you prove yourselves as, like, the rebellious ones, like, it undermines her entire argument. It's great. Which is funny, too, because, like, I'm pretty sure 90% of the teachers think Nim is a bad boy. So, like, I don't get how your group has this connection to being goody two-shoes when he's in it. But whatever.
Doesn't seem to have a lot of common sense behind her statements thus far, so...
No, but she's damn convincing, I will say that. Like, she's definitely going to the right college. Or planning on going to the right college. Gotta love Silverquill. Pieces of shit. And yes, I'm aware I'm one of them. Have fun. Good luck. And don't get caught. I will be asleep.
Thanks, Minoli.
And on a side note, table 5 needs a refill. And then, yeah.
On it.
But yeah. She does offer, though, she will say once you're done, that if you do manage to get her back, she'll pay for your lunches for a month.
Ooh.
So, like, yeah, she's like, I just want to, at this point, I want you guys to do it. So, don't disappoint me. And then,
We'll do our best.
absolutely. She's definitely Aubrey Plaza vibes.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
But yeah, so she's just like, don't disappoint me. Know that I'll never forgive you. She rolls her eyes. I honestly don't care, but like, succeed
No
if you're
pressure.
gonna, like, if you're gonna try, succeed. But like, yeah, if not, like, make sure it's Quintilius because that'll be funny. And yeah.
That quest has everything.
But yeah, so when we pick up next time, we may be going into Dapplewing Manor.
Ooh.
Yes, this is all I ever wanted to do.
This is what I mean by like it's a side dungeon that you guys could literally just say, nah.
Fuck that.
But
I'm
please
doing this
don't,
by
like-
myself if I need to.
Yeah, no. Kay knows that as soon as she mentions anything about this, that Syntax is going to be all over it. So
I just love that even just like Jerry in chat is already sold.
I know, Jerry in chat. Yes.
So you're literally trying to liberate a like what is it, Patchwork Annie doll, you know?
Yeah.
But the dolls with like the red red
Just as
hair.
insults.
like Raggedy Ann.
Raggedy
Ann,
Ann,
yeah.
that's it. So it's literally just a Raggedy Ann
Mm.
doll that insults people.
Lavenda, you fucking
Roasty
bitch.
Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, Sassy Sally Jane.
Freaking Melody.
So yeah, so I know that is a bit of a jump to get there. It's been roughly like 2-week time skip to get here. But I want us to have fun and do some combat because it's been a while. I'm not saying you'll fight things in there. No.
I'm fighting every player we pass. Every
God.
character.
Quintilius is in there, you just deck him.
Hey,
She's
Quintilius,
mine to
yeah.
rescue!
With the doll smack. My gosh.
Oh my god,
Yes.
it's an Annabelle doll. Guys, it's been corrupted by the... Okay, I'm joking.
After we
Oh,
fight them.
my god.
Oh.
When Mavinda's in there, so you guys have to fight Mavinda.
Oh no.
I'm like,
Disguise
I'm sorry,
self
Trent said.
As Mavinda.
As Mavinda!
Oh, we got some... Oh no! We have so many outs. That's true.
Pretend to be a mirror.
Okay.
But yeah, this will be the end of our session this week. Thank you guys for joining us, even if we have fewer
Thank you
people.
for-
I'm happy that Jerry could join us in chat anyways, for at least part of this. And next week, hopefully we have everybody here for a dungeon crawl, because if we don't, it will be difficult. So yeah, see you guys.
You think we don't have to win? You
That is
kidding
true.
me?
I will say, if you don't win, you just get caught.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, I will say, so at least the first few levels, your fights, if you fail, probably won't be fatal. Like,
Probably.
Probably.
I mean, again, there's always extenuating circumstances. The frog fight wasn't supposed to be possibly fatal, but then, like, some of you might have been dissolved by acid in a stomach. So, like, again, like, theoretically, a teacher could have come in and saved you guys if need be, but, like...
Maybe.
If there's not
Lavender's just
someone
slightly
left,
off screen.
how do you save them?
Oh.
But yeah,
Thank you for the session, Emerson.
I hope you guys had fun, even if it was weird.
Fun.
I am excited
Amazing
to play next week, and until then, adieu. I don't-
Adieu.
Adieu.
See you next Tuesday. What
See
the
you guys.
Bye.